Hey guys! Tonight we're stepping into the shadowy chambers of medieval royal courts where beauty came at a price that would make modern cosmetic warnings seem like gentle suggestions, and where queens pursued perfection through rituals so disturbing that death often arrived before the desired complexion. You can almost smell the acrid mixture of lead powder and mercury vapours that hangs in the air of a royal bedchamber, while candlelight flickers across porcelain faces that glow with an otherworldly pallor, achieved through systematic self-poisoning that medieval medicine not only permitted but actively encouraged as the pinnacle of aristocratic beauty standards. The story may solve mysteries you never had an explanation for, like why so many medieval queens died young despite having access to the best available medical care, or why historical portraits show such unnaturally pale, almost translucent skin that seems to glow with an eerie luminescence. So, before you explore the story with me, please take a moment to help me subscribe to the channel, like and share this video, or maybe leave a comment below, but make sure you do it when you really like what I bring to you. Feel free to let me know where and when you start watching, or share what draws you to these darker corners of history that reveal the terrifying lengths people went to for beauty. Now, let's keep the lights as soft as possible. Turn on the fan for a gentle sound to help the story feel more emotional, and let's embark on tonight's journey together. You find yourself in the private chambers of a medieval queen, watching as her ladies-in-waiting prepare the daily beauty ritual that will slowly kill her over months or years, while creating the flawless appearance that royal status demands. The beauty standards of medieval courts required a level of physical perfection that could only be achieved through substances and procedures that modern toxicologists would classify as attempted murder. Yet queens submitted willingly to these deadly routines because failure to meet aristocratic beauty expectations could result in political disaster, marital rejection, or social exile that threatened their power and survival. Your medieval queen begins each morning by examining her reflection in polished metal mirrors that reveal every flaw requiring correction through chemical intervention. Understanding that her political authority depends as much on physical appearance as on bloodline or marriage alliances. Medieval royal beauty standards demanded skin so pale it appeared translucent, eyes so bright they seemed supernatural, and features so perfect they suggested divine favour rather than human genetics. Achieving this impossible ideal required daily application of substances that would slowly accumulate in her organs, while creating the ethereal beauty that marked her as worthy of royal status. The mainstream historical fact governing medieval royal beauty reveals that court records document systematic use of toxic cosmetics among nobility, with inventory lists from royal households showing regular purchases of lead compounds, mercury preparations, and arsenic-based beauty products. Archaeological analysis of medieval royal remains consistently shows elevated levels of heavy metals that indicate chronic poisoning from cosmetic use rather than environmental exposure. Medical historians have documented that many mysterious royal deaths attributed to sudden illness or divine punishment actually resulted from long-term cosmetic poisoning that accumulated over years of daily beauty routines. You observe the elaborate hierarchy of medieval court beauty that creates competitive pressure among noble women to achieve increasingly dangerous levels of physical perfection, with queens setting beauty standards that other court ladies attempt to match through even more extreme cosmetic measures. The political dimensions of royal beauty mean that appearing less than perfect could signal weakness, illness, or divine disfavour that enemies might exploit to challenge royal authority. Medieval queens essentially participate in slow-motion poisoning competitions disguised as beauty routines, with each woman trying to achieve more dramatic results through increasingly toxic substances. Your queen's beauty regimen reflects medieval medical theory that treats physical appearance as direct indication of internal health and moral character, making cosmetic perfection essential for maintaining political credibility and royal authority. Medieval physicians actively recommended toxic beauty treatments as medical therapy, believing that dangerous substances could purify blood, balance humours, and eliminate impurities that caused both physical flaws and moral weakness. The medical establishment essentially prescribed beauty routines that modern science recognizes as systematic poisoning, while medieval doctors interpreted cosmetic toxicity as evidence of therapeutic effectiveness. A quirky aspect of medieval royal beauty emerges from the elaborate testing procedures that some queens employed to evaluate cosmetic safety, including using condemned prisoners as test subjects for new beauty preparations, or observing the effects of cosmetic ingredients on animals before applying them to royal skin. Some royal courts apparently maintained networks of beauty spies who investigated rival courts' cosmetic secrets while attempting to discover safer alternatives to popular toxic treatments. Medieval beauty apparently required intelligence operations that would make modern industrial espionage seem amateur by comparison. You discover that medieval royal beauty standards created international diplomatic incidents when foreign queens appeared at court events with superior cosmetic effects achieved through different toxic preparations, leading to elaborate intelligence efforts to steal cosmetic formulas and beauty techniques that could provide political advantages through superior physical appearance. Treaties between medieval kingdoms sometimes included clauses about sharing beauty secrets, suggesting that cosmetic knowledge represented strategic information that could affect international relations and political alliances. The seasonal aspects of medieval royal beauty include different toxic preparations for varying weather conditions and court events, with summer cosmetics requiring heat-resistant formulations, while winter beauty routines emphasized substances that maintained color and texture despite cold temperatures. Queens maintained elaborate cosmetic calendars that coordinated toxic beauty treatments with political schedules, ensuring that poison-induced beauty peaked during important diplomatic events while managing withdrawal symptoms and health crises during less public periods. Historians still argue whether medieval queens fully understood the deadly nature of their beauty routines, or whether medical authorities deliberately concealed cosmetic toxicity to maintain political control over royal women whose health problems could be attributed to beauty vanity, rather than systematic poisoning by court physicians. The evidence suggests that some queens suspected their cosmetics were dangerous, but continued using toxic preparations because political survival required maintaining impossible beauty standards regardless of personal health consequences. You feel the weight of understanding that medieval royal beauty represented elaborate suicide ritual disguised as cosmetic routine, with queens choosing slow death through systematic poisoning over the political and social consequences of appearing less than perfectly beautiful according to standards that required toxic intervention to achieve. You watch in fascination and horror as your medieval queen's ladies-in-waiting begin the daily ritual of applying lead-based face paint that will transform her natural complexion into the ghostly pale perfection that royal beauty demands, mixing white lead powder with various oils and binding agents to create a thick, opaque coating that covers every trace of natural skin colour while beginning its slow work of destroying her nervous system, kidneys, and brain. The lead cosmetics that coat her face contain the same toxic compounds used in house paint, creating a literally painted beauty that glows with unnatural luminescence, while systematically poisoning every organ in her body through absorption that medieval medicine not only permits but actively encourages as the height of cosmetic sophistication. Your queen submits patiently to the application process that requires nearly an hour of careful layering, as servants use brushes and sponges to build up multiple coats of lead-based foundation that must be thick enough to completely obscure natural skin texture while maintaining smooth, porcelain-like appearance that suggests supernatural perfection rather than human biology. The lead paint creates complexion so artificially white that it appears almost blue in certain lighting, giving royal women the ethereal, otherworldly appearance that medieval beauty standards require, while slowly accumulating in their tissues at levels that would trigger immediate medical intervention by contemporary poisoning protocols. The application technique requires specialized knowledge about lead consistency, drying times, and layering methods that court cosmeticians guard as professional secrets. With master beauticians commanding enormous salaries, for their expertise in creating flawless lead-painted faces that can withstand hours of public scrutiny without cracking, flaking, or revealing natural skin beneath. Your Queen's lead application represents sophisticated chemical engineering that achieves remarkable cosmetic results while delivering precisely measured doses of neurotoxin that will gradually impair her cognitive function, motor control, and organ systems over months or years of daily use. The mainstream historical fact governing medieval lead cosmetics reveals that white lead face paint remained the foundation of aristocratic beauty for centuries, despite documented knowledge of its toxic effects. Chemical analysis of surviving medieval cosmetic containers shows lead concentrations that exceeded modern safety limits by factors of thousands. While medical texts from the period describe symptoms of lead poisoning that physicians attributed to various illnesses rather than recognizing cosmetic toxicity as the underlying cause of widespread royal health problems, you observe the immediate effects of lead application as your Queen's skin begins showing signs of chemical irritation and absorption, including slight burning sensations that court beauticians dismiss as normal cosmetic reactions. Subtle colour changes around application areas where lead compounds interact with natural skin chemistry, and gradual numbing of facial muscles that creates the serene, expressionless appearance that medieval people interpreted as aristocratic dignity rather than recognizing as early neurological impairment from heavy metal poisoning. Your medieval cosmeticians have developed elaborate techniques for managing lead toxicity that reveal sophisticated understanding of poisoning symptoms while completely misinterpreting their chemical causes, including special dietary supplements designed to counteract cosmetic side effects, herbal remedies that supposedly neutralize toxic reactions, and timing schedules that alternate periods of heavy lead use with cosmetic fasting intended to allow natural recovery from beauty-related illness. These management strategies essentially prove that medieval court physicians recognized lead cosmetics as dangerous, while maintaining professional commitment to toxic beauty standards. A quirky aspect of medieval lead cosmetics emerges from the elaborate quality control systems that royal courts developed to ensure consistent lead purity and potency, including specialized lead suppliers who guaranteed cosmetic-grade heavy metals, testing procedures that evaluated lead effectiveness through color density and coverage capability, and even chemical analysis techniques that medieval alchemists used to verify optimal lead concentrations for maximum cosmetic impact. Some royal courts apparently maintained lead cosmetics laboratories that would make modern chemistry departments envious, though their research focused on improving poisoning efficiency rather than reducing toxicity. You discover that lead face paint required constant maintenance throughout the day as natural skin oils, perspiration, and facial movement caused gradual deterioration that revealed patches of natural skin colour beneath artificial white coating, necessitating frequent touch-ups and reapplication that increased daily lead exposure while maintaining perfect appearance during extended court events. Queens essentially received multiple toxic doses throughout each day as servants refreshed lead applications to maintain flawless white complexions that political protocol demanded regardless of cumulative poisoning effects. The preservation techniques for lead-painted faces include avoiding water, minimizing facial expressions, and maintaining controlled environments that prevent cosmetic degradation, while maximizing toxic absorption through extended contact between lead compounds and facial skin. Your queen learns to move, speak, and even sleep in ways that preserve lead cosmetic integrity, while ensuring optimal chemical absorption that enhances both beauty results and poisoning effectiveness, a skill set that medieval finishing schools apparently taught alongside deportment and languages. The social implications of lead face paint create competitive pressure among court ladies to achieve increasingly white complexions through higher lead concentrations, with some nobles applying lead cosmetics so thick that their faces become essentially lead masks that completely obscure natural features while delivering lethal doses of heavy metals that cause personality changes, cognitive impairment, and progressive neurological damage that medieval observers interpreted as aristocratic refinement rather than chemical brain injury. Your observation of lead cosmetic preparation reveals the industrial scale of medieval toxic beauty production, with royal households maintaining dedicated laboratories for processing lead ore into cosmetic compounds, specialized storage facilities for preserving toxic beauty products, and professional staff whose entire careers focus on managing royal poisoning routines that masquerade as beauty services. Medieval courts essentially operate chemical weapons facilities disguised as cosmetics departments, though apparently nobody found this arrangement concerning enough to question. The psychological effects of chronic lead exposure begin appearing in your queen's behaviour as daily cosmetic poisoning gradually alters her personality, cognitive function, and emotional regulation in ways that court observers attribute to royal dignity, divine favour, or aristocratic breeding rather than recognising as systematic neurological damage from toxic beauty routines. Lead poisoning essentially creates the serene, otherworldly demeanour that medieval people associate with royal perfection, while slowly destroying the mental faculties that effective rule requires. Historians still argue whether medieval medical authorities genuinely believed lead cosmetics were safe, or whether court physicians deliberately maintained toxic beauty standards as method of controlling royal women through systematic poisoning that could be attributed to cosmetic vanity rather than medical malpractice. But the evidence suggests that lead face paint represented intentional slow poisoning, disguised as beauty routine that served both cosmetic and political purposes. You watch as your queen admires her lead-painted reflection, unaware that each day's beauty routine brings her closer to the organ failure and neurological collapse that will eventually kill her, while maintaining the perfect white complexion that medieval society demands from royal women, regardless of the lethal cost. You watch with mounting dread as your queen's beauticians prepare the next phase of her morning routine, heating liquid mercury in delicate glass vessels until the silvery metal begins producing vapours that shimmer in the candlelight like captured starlight, promising to infuse her skin with the supernatural luminescence that medieval beauty standards demand, while delivering neurotoxic doses that will gradually destroy her brain, nervous system, and motor functions through daily absorption of one of nature's most insidious poisons. The mercury treatment represents the pinnacle of medieval cosmetic sophistication, offering immediate glowing effects that create an almost magical radiance beneath the lead face paint while beginning systemic destruction that will manifest as tremors, personality changes, and progressive mental deterioration disguised as royal eccentricity. Your medieval beauticians handle liquid mercury with reverent care, understanding its power to transform ordinary skin into luminous perfection, while remaining completely ignorant of its capacity to cause irreversible neurological damage through accumulation in brain tissue that medieval medicine cannot detect or treat. The mercury preparation involves warming pure liquid metal until it reaches optimal temperature for skin application, then carefully applying thin layers using soft brushes that distribute metallic particles across facial skin, where absorption begins immediately. The process creates an otherworldly glow that seems to emanate from within the skin itself, giving queens the supernatural beauty that medieval courts associate with divine favour, while slowly poisoning their nervous systems. The immediate visual effects of mercury application exceed even lead cosmetics in creating unnatural beauty that appears almost supernatural under torchlight. With liquid metal particles reflecting and refracting light to create complexion that literally glows with metallic luminescence. Your queen's mercury-enhanced face appears to generate its own illumination, creating the ethereal beauty that medieval people interpret as evidence of royal divinity, while actually representing systematic heavy metal poisoning that will eventually cause complete neurological collapse if continued long enough. The mainstream historical fact governing medieval mercury cosmetics reveals that liquid mercury was regularly used in royal beauty treatments across Europe, with court records documenting purchases of mercury for cosmetic purposes, alongside inventory lists that include specialised mercury application tools. Archaeological analysis of medieval royal burial sites consistently shows mercury concentrations in skeletal remains that indicate chronic exposure levels sufficient to cause severe neurological damage, while historical medical texts describe mercury as essential ingredient for achieving supernatural skin luminescence that distinguished royal beauty from common appearance. You observe the elaborate mercury application technique that requires specialized training to achieve even coverage without creating visible metal streaks or patches that would reveal artificial enhancement, with master cosmeticians using precise brush strokes and layering methods that distribute liquid mercury across facial skin while ensuring optimal absorption for maximum glowing effects. The technique demands perfect timing to apply mercury while it remains at ideal temperature for skin penetration, requiring coordination between multiple servants who heat, prepare, and apply mercury cosmetics according to strict protocols that maximize both beauty results and toxic exposure. Your queen experiences immediate effects from mercury application that include tingling sensations across treated skin areas, subtle warmth that indicates active chemical absorption, and gradual development of the supernatural glow that makes mercury cosmetics worth their terrible long-term consequences. The tingling becomes more pronounced with repeated applications as mercury accumulates in nerve endings, creating hypersensitivity that court physicians interpret as evidence of cosmetic effectiveness, rather than recognizing as early signs of neurotoxic damage that will eventually progress to complete sensory dysfunction. A quirky aspect of medieval mercury cosmetics emerges from the elaborate purification rituals that some queens performed to enhance mercury effectiveness, including special diets designed to optimize mercury absorption, meditation practices that supposedly directed mercury energy towards specific facial areas, and astrological timing that coordinated mercury applications with planetary alignments believed to amplify metallic beauty effects. Some royal courts apparently developed comprehensive mercury mysticism that treated liquid metal as sacred substance requiring spiritual preparation rather than recognizing it as industrial poison that happened to create attractive cosmetic effects. You discover that mercury cosmetics require constant reapplication throughout the day, as natural skin processes gradually eliminate absorbed mercury through normal cellular turnover, necessitating multiple daily doses that ensure continuous glowing effects, while accelerating cumulative poisoning that builds toward eventual neurological crisis. Queens learn to recognize optimal timing for mercury touch-ups by monitoring the intensity of their supernatural glow, essentially using visual mercury toxicity as dosing guide for maintaining perfect luminescent beauty regardless of health consequences. The preservation of mercury-enhanced beauty requires avoiding activities that could remove mercury deposits through perspiration, washing, or physical contact, leading queens to adopt increasingly restrictive lifestyles that protect cosmetic investments while maximizing toxic absorption. Your queen learns to minimize physical activity, avoid emotional expressions that could disturb mercury distribution, and maintain controlled environments that preserve metallic skin enhancement while ensuring optimal conditions for heavy metal poisoning disguised as beauty maintenance. The mercury vapor exposure that occurs during application affects not only queens, but also their beauticians and attendants, creating court environments where chronic mercury poisoning becomes occupational hazard for anyone involved in royal beauty routines. Your queen's chambers gradually accumulate mercury contamination that affects everyone who spends time in cosmetic application areas, spreading neurotoxic exposure throughout royal households while creating epidemic levels of heavy metal poisoning that court physicians attribute to various mysterious illnesses rather than recognizing environmental mercury toxicity. The long-term effects of mercury cosmetics begin manifesting as subtle personality changes, decreased coordination, and cognitive impairment that develop so gradually that court observers interpret neurological deterioration as normal aging or aristocratic refinement rather than progressive poisoning from beauty routines. Your queen's mercury-induced symptoms include tremors that she learns to control through conscious effort, memory problems that she compensates through increased reliance on advisors, and emotional instability that court etiquette helps disguise as royal dignity rather than neurotoxic personality changes. The competitive aspects of mercury cosmetics create pressure among court ladies to achieve increasingly dramatic glowing effects through higher mercury concentrations, with some nobles applying mercury so frequently that their skin develops permanent metallic sheen, while their neurological function deteriorates to levels that would concern modern toxicologists, but that medieval observers interpret as evidence of supernatural beauty achieved through dedicated cosmetic practice. Historians still argue whether medieval medical authorities understood mercury's neurotoxic properties, or whether court physicians genuinely believed liquid metal provided safe cosmetic enhancement. But evidence suggests that some medieval doctors recognized mercury toxicity while continuing to prescribe metallic beauty treatments, because supernatural glowing effects were considered worth the neurological risks for royal women whose political power depended on maintaining impossible beauty standards. You watch your queen admire her mercury-enhanced glow in polished metal mirrors, seeing ethereal beauty that will slowly destroy her mind while creating the supernatural luminescence that medieval society expects from divinely appointed royalty. Regardless of the brain damage required to achieve such otherworldly perfection, you feel a chill of recognition as your queen's physicians arrive carrying leather cases filled with gleaming lancets, ceremonial bowls, and an assortment of bloodletting instruments that medieval medicine considers essential for maintaining the rosy complexion and mental clarity that royal beauty demands. Preparing to drain substantial quantities of her blood in carefully calculated procedures designed to balance humours, purify circulation, and create the healthy glow that can only be achieved by systematically weakening her immune system through regular blood loss, that modern medicine would classify as deliberate anemia induction, disguised as therapeutic beauty treatment. Your medieval physicians approach bloodletting with the solemnity of religious ritual, believing that removing corrupt blood will allow fresh, pure blood to replace contaminated circulation while improving skin tone, mental acuity, and overall beauty through deliberate weakening that forces the body to regenerate healthier blood supplies. The bloodletting session begins with careful examination of your queen's pulse, complexion, and energy levels to determine optimal blood removal quantities that will achieve desired cosmetic effects without causing immediate collapse. Though long-term health consequences receive minimal consideration compared to short-term beauty improvements. The elaborate preparation for royal bloodletting includes positioning your queen on specially designed furniture that facilitates blood drainage while maintaining dignified appearance throughout the procedure, arranging collection vessels to capture blood for examination and disposal, and preparing herbal treatments to promote healing after deliberate blood loss weakens her immune system and reduces her body's capacity for fighting infection or disease. The ceremonial aspects of medical bloodletting transform systematic weakening into prestigious beauty treatment that demonstrates royal access to sophisticated medical care. The mainstream historical fact governing medieval bloodletting reveals that regular blood removal was considered essential medical treatment for maintaining health and beauty among nobility. Medical texts from the period prescribe specific bloodletting schedules for different seasons, ages, and health conditions, with royal households maintaining detailed records of blood removal quantities and timing. Archaeological evidence from medieval medical sites shows specialized bloodletting tools designed specifically for aristocratic use, while court physicians' writings describe bloodletting as a fundamental component of royal health maintenance that served both medical and cosmetic purposes. You observe the methodical precision with which court physicians select optimal bloodletting locations on your queen's body, choosing veins that will provide adequate blood flow while minimizing visible scarring that could mar royal appearance, using anatomical knowledge to identify circulation points that offer maximum blood removal with minimal cosmetic damage. The physicians employ different bloodletting techniques for various beauty goals: arm veins for general complexion improvement, temple locations for mental clarity enhancement, and leg circulation for overall vitality improvement that supposedly enhances royal beauty through systematic blood depletion. Your queen submits to the sharp pain of lancet incisions with stoic dignity befitting royal status, understanding that beauty requires suffering and that the weakness following blood loss represents necessary sacrifice for achieving the pale, delicate appearance that medieval society associates with aristocratic refinement and moral purity. The bloodletting process creates immediate pallor that physicians interpret as evidence of successful impurity removal, while the weakness and fatigue that follow blood loss receive praise as signs of enhanced spiritual sensitivity and refined constitution that distinguish royal women from robust peasant health. A quirky aspect of medieval royal bloodletting emerges from the elaborate blood analysis that physicians performed to evaluate the success of beauty treatments, including examination of blood colour, consistency, and settling patterns that supposedly revealed information about internal health and beauty potential. Some court physicians developed sophisticated blood classification systems that categorized royal blood according to beauty-enhancing properties, with different blood types requiring different removal quantities and timing schedules. Medieval medicine apparently turned blood examination into both diagnostic tool and beauty consultation, though their conclusions about blood quality seem roughly as reliable as medieval weather prediction. You discover that royal bloodletting often occurred according to astrological calendars that coordinated blood removal with lunar phases and planetary alignments, believed to optimize beauty benefits while minimizing health risks, creating elaborate scheduling systems that treated blood drainage as cosmic beauty ritual rather than medical procedure. Some queens maintained personal bloodletting calendars that synchronized beauty treatments with court events, ensuring that post-bloodletting pallor and weakness would peak during important social occasions when delicate, otherworldly appearance would enhance their royal mystique. The immediate effects of bloodletting create the desired cosmetic results that medieval beauty standards require: dramatic pallor that suggests spiritual refinement, physical weakness that demonstrates delicate constitution, and mental fogginess that court observers interpret as enhanced sensitivity and aristocratic detachment from worldly concerns. Your queen's post-bloodletting appearance epitomizes medieval beauty ideals while actually representing systematic blood loss that would trigger immediate medical intervention by contemporary standards concerned with maintaining adequate circulation and immune function. The recovery process from royal bloodletting includes specialized diets designed to promote blood regeneration while maintaining the pale, weakened appearance that bloodletting creates. With court nutritionists carefully balancing recovery nutrition against beauty maintenance that requires ongoing anemia to preserve desired cosmetic effects, queens learn to manage post-bloodletting weakness through reduced activity, increased rest, and lifestyle modifications that accommodate deliberately induced frailty, while maintaining royal responsibilities that require physical and mental energy depleted through beauty treatments. The competitive aspects of court bloodletting create pressure among noble ladies to undergo increasingly frequent and extensive blood removal procedures, with some women scheduling bloodletting sessions so regularly that they maintain permanent states of medically dangerous anemia while achieving the extreme pallor and fragility that represents pinnacle of medieval aristocratic beauty. The political implications of bloodletting-induced weakness include queens whose decision-making capacity becomes impaired through chronic blood loss, potentially affecting royal governance while enhancing cosmetic appeal to medieval audiences who associate physical frailty with moral and spiritual superiority. Your observation of bloodletting equipment reveals the sophisticated medical technology that medieval physicians developed for efficient royal blood removal, including graduated lancets for precise incision control, specialized collection vessels for measuring blood loss quantities, and various cupping devices that enhance blood flow during drainage procedures. The medical instruments represent significant technological investment in systematic weakening, disguised as beauty enhancement, suggesting that medieval courts considered deliberate anemia sufficiently valuable to justify elaborate medical infrastructure devoted to controlled blood loss. The seasonal variations in royal bloodletting include different procedures for various times of year, with spring bloodletting designed to remove winter impurities, summer procedures focused on maintaining pallor despite increased sunlight exposure, and autumn blood removal preparing for winter beauty requirements that emphasize indoor complexion management. Medieval physicians essentially created annual bloodletting calendars that coordinated systematic weakening with seasonal beauty needs, while ensuring continuous immune system compromise throughout the year. Historians still argue whether medieval physicians genuinely believed bloodletting provided health benefits, or whether medical authorities maintained blood removal practices primarily to control royal women through systematic weakening that reduced their physical capacity for independent action, while creating cosmetic effects that enhanced their ornamental value as political symbols rather than functional rulers. You watch as your queen's complexion achieves the perfect post-bloodletting pallor that medieval beauty demands, understanding that her enhanced, delicate appearance represents successful medical weakening that will require weeks of recovery while maintaining the fragile beauty that royal status requires regardless of health consequences. You watch in horrified fascination as your queen's beauticians prepare drops of deadly nightshade extract, the infamous belladonna that will transform her ordinary brown eyes into luminous, dilated orbs that appear almost supernaturally large and captivating while slowly poisoning her nervous system through direct absorption into the delicate blood vessels of her eyeballs. The belladonna preparation involves crushing fresh nightshade berries to extract the toxic alkaloids that cause pupil dilation, creating eye drops that medieval beauty standards consider essential for achieving the wide-eyed, otherworldly gaze that suggests innocence, vulnerability, and divine favour, while actually delivering potent neurotoxins directly into the bloodstream through ocular absorption. Your queen tilts her head back with practiced ease as servants carefully position silver droppers above her eyes, preparing to instill belladonna extract that will cause immediate pupil dilation, accompanied by burning pain, temporary vision blurring, and systemic poisoning that begins within minutes of application. The beauty ritual requires precise timing and dosage control, as too little belladonna fails to achieve desired cosmetic effects, while excessive amounts can cause permanent blindness, seizures, or death through acute poisoning that overwhelms the nervous system's capacity to process deadly nightshade alkaloids. The immediate effects of belladonna application create the dramatic eye enhancement that medieval beauty demands. Pupils dilate to nearly twice their normal size, creating an intense, mesmerizing gaze that appears almost hypnotic under candlelight, while indicating serious neurological impairment from plant toxins that medieval medicine celebrates as cosmetic improvement. Your queen's belladonna-enhanced eyes achieve the supernatural beauty that distinguishes royal appearance from common features, though the enlarged pupils actually represent chemical manipulation of brain function. Rather than natural enhancement, the application process demands intimate knowledge of individual tolerance levels, optimal dilution ratios, and timing schedules that coordinate belladonna effects with social obligations requiring enhanced eye beauty. Master cosmeticians guard their belladonna formulation secrets as professional expertise that commands premium compensation for managing royal poisoning routines disguised as beauty services. Your queen experiences the characteristic burning sensation that accompanies belladonna absorption, followed by gradual vision impairment that makes reading, needlework, and detailed visual tasks increasingly difficult, while enhancing her mysterious, otherworldly appearance that medieval observers interpret as aristocratic detachment from mundane concerns. The vision problems caused by belladonna actually represent neurological dysfunction, but court society interprets visual impairment as evidence of enhanced spiritual sensitivity and refined constitution that elevates royal women above common sensory experiences. A quirky aspect of medieval belladonna use emerges from the elaborate timing schedules that queens developed to coordinate eye poisoning with social events, including calculations for optimal pupil dilation during important court appearances, recovery periods for vision restoration between beauty applications, and emergency antidotes for belladonna overdoses that threatened to cause blindness during crucial political negotiations. Some royal courts apparently maintained belladonna specialists who functioned as both beauticians and toxicologists, managing royal eye poisoning with scientific precision that would impress modern emergency medicine doctors, though their goal involved enhancing rather than treating poisoning effects. You discover that belladonna tolerance builds gradually with repeated use, requiring increasingly concentrated doses to achieve desired cosmetic effects, while accelerating cumulative toxicity that eventually causes permanent neurological damage disguised as aristocratic eccentricity. Queens who use belladonna regularly develop characteristic behavioral changes, including confusion, disorientation, and emotional instability that court observers attribute to royal mystique rather than recognizing as chronic plant poisoning that progressively destroys brain function through systematic alkaloid exposure. The social implications of belladonna beauty create competitive pressure among court ladies to achieve increasingly dramatic pupil dilation through higher doses of deadly nightshade, with some nobles applying belladonna so frequently that they maintain permanent vision impairment while achieving the supernaturally enlarged pupils that represent pinnacle of medieval eye beauty. The political consequences include queens whose judgment becomes impaired through chronic belladonna poisoning, potentially affecting royal decision-making while enhancing their mysterious, otherworldly appeal to medieval audiences who associate large pupils with spiritual insight. The preservation of belladonna effects requires avoiding bright light that causes painful pupil constriction, leading queens to prefer dimly lit environments that protect their poisoned eyes, while maintaining the dramatic visual impact that justifies ongoing neurological damage. Your queen learns to navigate palace corridors in perpetual twilight, using servants as guides when belladonna-induced vision impairment makes independent movement dangerous, while preserving the enlarged pupils that distinguish royal beauty from common appearance. The preparation methods for belladonna cosmetics involve seasonal collection of nightshade berries, specialized extraction techniques for concentrating toxic alkaloids, and storage procedures that preserve poison potency for consistent cosmetic effects throughout the year. Royal households maintain dedicated belladonna gardens, where expert herbalists cultivate deadly nightshades specifically for cosmetic applications, creating palace poison production facilities disguised as beauty supply operations that would make modern drug enforcement agencies extremely concerned. The medical management of belladonna poisoning includes court physicians who develop treatments for cosmetic overdoses, while maintaining professional support for ongoing eye poisoning that serves beauty rather than health goals. Medieval doctors create elaborate protocols for managing belladonna toxicity without eliminating cosmetic effects, essentially providing medical support for systematic self-poisoning that they simultaneously treat and encourage, depending on whether neurological symptoms interfere with court obligations or enhance royal mystique. Your observation of belladonna application reveals the industrial scale of medieval eye poisoning, with royal courts maintaining specialized staff for deadly nightshade cultivation, processing, and application, while developing sophisticated quality control systems that ensure consistent toxicity levels for reliable cosmetic results. The infrastructure required for royal belladonna beauty suggests that medieval courts considered eye poisoning sufficiently valuable to justify substantial investment in poison production and distribution systems. Historians still argue whether medieval women fully understood belladonna's deadly nature, or whether beauty culture deliberately obscured toxicity information to maintain cosmetic practices that served male preferences for large-eyed, vulnerable-appearing women whose impaired vision and neurological function made them easier to control politically and socially. You watch your queen blink rapidly as belladonna burns through her eye tissues, creating the luminous, dilated gaze that medieval beauty demands while beginning another day's worth of systematic nervous system poisoning, disguised as cosmetic enhancement that will slowly destroy her vision and brain function in pursuit of supernaturally beautiful eyes. You witness the most disturbing beauty secret of medieval royal courts as your queen prepares to consume her daily dose of arsenic, the deadly metalloid poison that promises to create the translucent, porcelain white complexion that represents the pinnacle of aristocratic beauty while systematically destroying her digestive system, nervous function, and cellular metabolism through deliberate ingestion of one of history's most notorious murder weapons disguised as beauty supplement. The arsenic preparation involves mixing white arsenic powder with wine, honey, or other palatable substances to mask the metallic taste, while ensuring consistent daily doses that will gradually lighten skin pigmentation from within by interfering with melanin production and blood circulation in ways that create ethereal, almost supernatural pallor. Your medieval beauty advisors present arsenic consumption as essential aristocratic health practice, explaining that regular poison ingestion purifies the blood, eliminates dark humours, and creates the luminous skin transparency that distinguishes royal breeding from common complexions that retain natural pigmentation. The arsenic dosing requires careful calculation to achieve desired cosmetic effects without causing immediate death, with experienced practitioners developing sophisticated understanding of poison tolerance, optimal timing, and cumulative effects that transform systematic self-poisoning into precision beauty science that medieval courts consider more valuable than gold. The immediate effects of arsenic consumption include subtle skin changes that develop over weeks of regular poisoning. With your queen's complexion gradually losing natural warmth and developing the cool, translucent quality that medieval society associates with divine favour and aristocratic refinement. The arsenic-induced pallor creates skin so pale it appears almost transparent, revealing delicate networks of veins beneath the surface, while indicating serious circulatory damage from heavy metal poisoning that medieval medicine interprets as successful beauty enhancement, rather than recognizing a systematic organ failure. The mainstream historical fact governing medieval arsenic consumption reveals that arsenic-based beauty treatments were documented across European royal courts for centuries. Surviving medical texts include specific recipes for arsenic beauty preparations, with court physicians prescribing regular poison consumption for complexion improvement. Chemical analysis of medieval royal hair samples consistently shows arsenic concentrations indicating chronic exposure levels that would be fatal to non-adapted individuals, while court records document regular purchases of arsenic compounds specifically designated for cosmetic rather than pest control purposes. You observe the elaborate rituals surrounding daily arsenic consumption, as court physicians carefully measure precise doses designed to maintain optimal poisoning levels that enhance beauty without causing immediate collapse during important court events. The arsenic preparation involves multiple quality control steps, including purity testing to ensure consistent toxicity, taste masking to make poison consumption palatable, and timing coordination to maximize cosmetic benefits while minimizing digestive distress that could interfere with royal obligations requiring public appearances. Your queen's arsenic routine includes gradual dose escalation over months as her body develops tolerance to poison levels that would kill untrained individuals, with master poisoners carefully monitoring her response to increasing toxicity while adjusting formulations to maintain steady cosmetic improvement without triggering acute poisoning symptoms that could reveal beauty secrets to political rivals. The tolerance building essentially transforms queens into walking poison repositories whose blood and tissue contain arsenic concentrations that make them literally toxic to touch. Though medieval court etiquette fortunately discourages casual physical contact, a quirky aspect of medieval arsenic beauty emerges from the elaborate antidote systems that some courts developed to manage poison emergencies, including specialized physicians who understood arsenic toxicity reversal, emergency treatments for accidental overdoses, and even poison-tasting protocols where servants consumed small arsenic samples to verify cosmetic grade quality before royal administration. Some royal households apparently maintained arsenic emergency response teams that functioned like medieval poison control centres, though their primary mission involved optimizing rather than preventing systematic self-poisoning for beauty purposes. You discover that arsenic consumption creates distinctive physiological changes beyond skin pallor, including characteristic nail patterns, hair texture modifications, and subtle neurological effects that medieval observers interpret as signs of aristocratic refinement, rather than recognizing as classic arsenic poisoning symptoms. Queens develop the translucent, otherworldly appearance that distinguishes royal beauty while simultaneously experiencing digestive problems, muscle weakness, and cognitive changes that court physicians attribute to delicate constitution rather than acknowledging as systematic heavy metal poisoning that gradually destroys multiple organ systems. The competitive aspects of arsenic beauty create pressure among court ladies to consume increasingly dangerous doses in pursuit of more dramatic skin transparency, with some nobles ingesting arsenic at levels that cause permanent organ damage while achieving the supernatural pallor that represents ultimate aristocratic beauty achievement. The social implications include queens whose arsenic-induced cognitive impairment affects their political judgment while enhancing their ethereal beauty appeal to medieval audiences who associate translucent skin with spiritual elevation and divine favour. The preservation of arsenic-enhanced beauty requires maintaining consistent poison consumption even during illness, pregnancy, or other circumstances when additional toxicity could prove immediately fatal, demonstrating the extent to which medieval beauty standards prioritize cosmetic appearance over basic survival instincts. Your queen learns to continue arsenic consumption through various health crises while managing withdrawal symptoms that occur when poison doses are reduced or interrupted for medical reasons that temporarily conflict with beauty maintenance requirements. The seasonal variations in arsenic consumption include different dosing schedules designed to optimize skin transparency for specific court events, with higher doses preceding important social occasions, while recovery periods allow partial detoxification between beauty seasons that require maximum cosmetic impact. Queens develop sophisticated poison management skills that coordinate arsenic toxicity with social calendars, essentially scheduling systematic self-poisoning around political obligations that demand supernatural beauty regardless of health consequences. Your observation of arsenic effects reveals the gradual transformation that systematic poisoning creates in royal appearance and behaviour, with queens developing characteristic signs of chronic arsenic exposure, including specific skin textures, movement patterns, and personality changes that medieval society interprets as aristocratic evolution rather than recognizing as progressive poisoning that slowly destroys human biology. The arsenic-enhanced translucency becomes so associated with royal status that natural skin pigmentation appears common and unrefined by comparison. The medical management of arsenic beauty includes court physicians who monitor poison levels while providing treatments for toxicity symptoms without eliminating cosmetic benefits, creating elaborate medical protocols that simultaneously support and treat systematic self-poisoning depending on whether arsenic effects enhance or interfere with the royal obligations. Medieval doctors essentially become specialized poison consultants who optimize toxic beauty treatments while managing the inevitable health crises that result from deliberate heavy metal consumption. Historians still argue whether medieval arsenic beauty practices resulted from genuine medical beliefs about poison benefits, or whether beauty culture deliberately promoted arsenic consumption as method of creating docile, cognitively impaired royal women whose poison-induced compliance made them easier to control politically, while maintaining their ornamental value through supernatural beauty that served male aesthetic preferences rather than female health or autonomy. You watch your queen swallow her daily arsenic dose with practiced ease, beginning another day's systematic poisoning that will enhance her translucent beauty while slowly destroying her liver, kidneys, and nervous system in pursuit of the supernatural pallor that medieval aristocracy considers worth dying for. You recoil in disgust as your queen's beauticians prepare the next phase of her morning beauty regimen, carefully collecting fresh human urine in ornate silver bowls, while explaining that this golden liquid represents one of medieval medicine's most powerful anti-aging treatments, capable of dissolving wrinkles, tightening skin, and restoring youthful vitality through topical application that modern sensibilities would find revolting, but that medieval beauty culture considers essential for maintaining royal complexion. The urine facial treatment involves applying warm human waste directly to facial skin, allowing the ammonia, urea, and various bodily waste products to penetrate pores while creating the acidic chemical environment that supposedly eliminates age spots, reduces fine lines, and provides skin purification that no other medieval beauty treatment can match. Your medieval beauticians approach urine collection with scientific precision, understanding that different sources provide varying beauty benefits according to elaborate theories about bodily humours, age factors, and health conditions that affect urine quality for cosmetic applications. Young virgins' urine commands premium prices for its supposed purity and youth-enhancing properties, while pregnant women's urine allegedly provides special hormonal benefits that restore fertility and vitality to aging royal skin. The urine sourcing essentially creates medieval beauty supply chains, where human waste becomes luxury commodity traded according to donor characteristics that determine cosmetic effectiveness. The application process involves warming fresh urine to optimal temperature for facial absorption, then carefully applying the liquid waste using soft cloths or direct immersion techniques that ensure complete skin coverage while managing the overwhelming stench that accompanies beauty treatments based on human excrement. Your queen submits to urine facials with royal dignity, despite the obvious discomfort and humiliation, understanding that beauty requires sacrificing personal preferences for cosmetic results that justify even the most revolting treatment methods that medieval beauty culture considers scientifically advanced. The mainstream historical fact governing medieval urine beauty treatments reveals that human waste was regularly used in aristocratic skincare across Europe. Surviving beauty manuals include detailed recipes for urine-based cosmetics, with specific instructions for collecting, preparing, and applying human waste for various skin conditions. Medical texts from the period describe urine as an essential ingredient for complexion improvement, while court records document regular purchases of human urine from carefully selected donors whose waste was considered particularly beneficial for royal beauty applications. You observe the immediate effects of urine application as your queen's skin begins showing responses to waste product exposure, including temporary redness from ammonia irritation, distinctive odours that linger despite attempts at perfume masking, and chemical reactions between urine acids and facial skin that create burning sensations medieval beauticians interpret as evidence of effective treatment. The urine facial requires extended exposure time to achieve desired results, forcing queens to endure prolonged contact with human waste while maintaining royal composure during beauty treatments that would challenge modern tolerance for cosmetic discomfort. Your queen's urine beauty routine includes different waste products for various cosmetic goals, with morning urine providing energy enhancement, elderly donor urine offering wisdom absorption, and animal urine contributing specific benefits according to creature characteristics that medieval beauty theory associates with desirable human traits. Horse urine allegedly provides strength and vitality. Cow urine offers nurturing properties, and goat urine delivers cleverness enhancement through topical application that transforms animal waste into specialized beauty treatments based on sympathetic magic principles. A quirky aspect of medieval urine beauty emerges from the elaborate quality control systems that royal courts developed for evaluating human waste suitability for cosmetic applications, including professional urine tasters who assessed donor health through waste sampling, chemical analysis techniques that evaluated urine purity and potency, and even seasonal collection schedules that coordinated waste harvesting with optimal donor conditions. Some medieval courts apparently maintained urine laboratories that would make modern sanitation officials question humanity's collective judgment, though their research focused on optimizing waste-based beauty treatments rather than developing alternatives to human excrement cosmetics. You discover that urine facials often combine with other bodily waste products to create comprehensive beauty treatments, using multiple forms of human excrement applied simultaneously for enhanced cosmetic benefits. Saliva provides moisturizing properties, breast milk offers nourishing qualities, and menstrual blood allegedly delivers youth restoration through topical application of various bodily fluids that medieval beauty culture considers more effective than any plant-based alternatives. Queens essentially submit to comprehensive bodily waste immersion, disguised as advanced skincare that demonstrates medieval medicine's sophisticated understanding of human biology. The preservation of urine-enhanced beauty requires maintaining regular waste application schedules that coordinate with donor availability, optimal collection timing, and skin absorption cycles that maximize cosmetic benefits, while managing the practical challenges of incorporating human excrement into daily royal grooming routines. Your queen develops tolerance for waste-based beauty treatments while learning to coordinate urine facials with core obligations that require public appearances where lingering odors and skin reactions must be disguised through elaborate perfuming and makeup techniques. The social implications of urine beauty create hierarchical systems where access to high-quality human waste becomes status symbol among court ladies competing for superior excrement sources that provide enhanced cosmetic results. Royal households maintain networks of carefully screened urine donors whose waste commands premium prices based on age, health, and lifestyle factors that supposedly affect cosmetic effectiveness, creating medieval beauty markets where human excrement becomes luxury commodity more valuable than precious gems. Your observation of urine beauty preparation reveals the industrial scale of medieval waste processing for cosmetic applications, with royal courts maintaining specialized facilities for collecting, storing, and preparing human excrement for beauty treatments while developing quality control systems that ensure consistent waste quality for reliable cosmetic results. The infrastructure required for urine beauty suggests that medieval courts considered human waste sufficiently valuable for skincare to justify elaborate processing operations disguised as advanced medical facilities. The medical justification for urine beauty includes elaborate theories about waste product chemistry that supposedly explains how human excrement provides superior skincare benefits compared to conventional beauty treatments, with court physicians developing sophisticated explanations for why topical waste application enhances royal complexion through chemical mechanisms that medieval medicine considers scientifically proven, despite complete lack of empirical evidence supporting excrement-based beauty theories. The psychological adaptation required for urine beauty treatments demonstrates the extent to which social pressure can overcome natural revulsion, with queens learning to associate human waste odors and textures with beauty enhancement rather than recognizing excrement application as degrading experience that modern dignity standards would never tolerate, regardless of alleged cosmetic benefits. Historians still argue whether medieval urine beauty practices reflected genuine medical beliefs about waste-based skincare, or whether beauty culture deliberately promoted degrading treatments as method of humiliating royal women, while creating cosmetic rituals that emphasized feminine submission to male medical authority through acceptance of revolting beauty procedures that served psychological rather than physiological purposes. You watch your queen endure another urine facial with stoic determination, understanding that medieval beauty standards require accepting human waste application as advanced skincare despite the obvious humiliation and health risks involved in covering royal faces with fresh excrement in pursuit of complexion, improvement that justifies even the most disgusting beauty treatments medieval medicine can devise. You watch in revolted fascination as your queen's beauticians arrange an array of freshly harvested animal organs across silver platters, preparing beauty treatments that transform palace chambers into scenes resembling medieval butcher shops more than royal cosmetic salons, with still warm animal hearts, brains, livers, and other internal organs destined for direct application to royal skin in beauty rituals that combine the charnel house with the vanity table. The animal organ beauty treatments represent medieval medicine's belief that topical application of fresh creature parts can transfer desirable animal characteristics to human appearance, with different organs providing specific beauty benefits according to elaborate theories about sympathetic magic that treat animal biology as transferable through direct skin contact with bloody, raw internal tissues. Your medieval beauticians handle fresh animal organs with practiced expertise, understanding which creature parts provide optimal beauty enhancement, while managing the obvious hygiene challenges that accompany beauty treatments involving raw meat application to facial skin. Sheep brains allegedly enhance mental clarity while smoothing wrinkles. Pig hearts provide vitality and circulation improvement, and calf liver delivers youth restoration through topical absorption of fresh organ nutrients that medieval beauty theory considers more effective than any plant-based alternatives for achieving supernatural complexion improvement. The preparation of animal organs for cosmetic use involves careful timing to ensure optimal freshness, with palace staff coordinating beauty treatments with animal slaughter schedules that guarantee queens receive organ applications, while tissues remain warm and supposedly retain maximum therapeutic potency. Your queen's organ beauty routine requires precise coordination between kitchen staff, beauticians, and animal handlers who must deliver fresh creature parts for immediate cosmetic application before decomposition reduces beauty effectiveness of raw meat treatments. The mainstream historical fact governing medieval animal organ beauty reveals that fresh creature parts were regularly used in aristocratic skincare across European courts. Surviving beauty manuscripts include detailed instructions for preparing and applying various animal organs for cosmetic purposes, with specific recipes that specify optimal organ sources, preparation methods, and application techniques. Archaeological evidence from medieval palace sites shows specialized tools designed for organ processing in cosmetic contexts, while court records document regular purchases of specific animal types whose organs were designated for beauty rather than culinary purposes. You observe the elaborate application process as beauticians carefully position warm animal organs against your queen's facial skin, creating grotesque beauty masks using sheep brains that supposedly transfer animal intelligence while providing protein nourishment for aging skin, or applying fresh pig heart slices that allegedly improve circulation while delivering cardiovascular vitality through direct tissue contact. The organ application requires careful timing to maximize absorption, while managing the inevitable decay that begins immediately upon animal death, creating beauty treatments with extremely limited effectiveness. Windows. Your queen submits to animal organ facials with royal composure, despite the obvious discomfort of having raw meat pressed against her skin, feeling warm blood and other bodily fluids seeping into her pores, while understanding that beauty demands accepting even the most revolting treatment methods that medieval cosmetic science considers essential for maintaining youthful appearance. The organ masks create bizarre visual effects as royal faces become covered with fresh animal parts that gradually cool and begin decomposing during extended beauty treatment sessions. A quirky aspect of medieval organ beauty emerges from the specialized animal breeding programs that some royal courts developed to ensure optimal organ quality for cosmetic applications, including livestock selection based on beauty-enhancing characteristics. Special feeding regimens designed to improve organ therapeutic properties, and even astrological timing for animal slaughter that supposedly maximized cosmetic effectiveness of fresh creature parts. Some medieval courts apparently maintained beauty livestock operations that prioritized organ cosmetic quality over meat production, creating specialized agricultural systems devoted to producing superior animal parts for royal skincare applications. You discover that different animal organs require specific application techniques designed to maximize beauty benefits while managing practical challenges of working with fresh meat in cosmetic contexts, including temperature control to maintain optimal organ warmth, timing coordination to prevent premature decomposition, and positioning methods that ensure adequate skin contact while preventing organ displacement during treatment sessions. Royal beauticians develop sophisticated expertise in meat-based cosmetics that would make modern butchers envious, though their knowledge focuses on beauty enhancement rather than food preparation. The preservation challenges of organ-based beauty treatments necessitate immediate use of fresh animal parts, while creating waste management problems for palace staff responsible for disposing of decomposed beauty materials that cannot be recycled for other purposes. Your queen's organ beauty routine generates substantial quantities of rotting meat waste that must be removed quickly to prevent palace contamination, while maintaining secrecy about beauty methods that political rivals might exploit for propaganda purposes if royal organ consumption became public knowledge. The variety of animal organ beauty treatments includes creature-specific applications based on desired cosmetic effects: bird brains for mental enhancement, fish organs for moisture retention, and mammal hearts for vitality improvement through topical absorption of fresh animal characteristics that medieval beauty theory considers transferable through direct skin contact. Queens develop extensive knowledge about optimal organ sources, preparation methods, and application techniques that transform royal beauticians into specialized meat processors whose expertise extends beyond conventional culinary applications. The immediate effects of animal organ application include skin reactions to fresh meat contact, distinctive odors that require extensive perfuming to mask, and potential infections from bacterial contamination that accompanies topical application of raw animal tissues to human skin. Your queen learns to manage organ beauty side effects while maintaining royal appearance during court events, where lingering meat odors and skin irritation must be disguised through elaborate cosmetic concealment techniques that hide evidence of revolting beauty treatments. The competitive aspects of organ beauty create pressure among court ladies to access increasingly exotic animal parts for superior cosmetic results, with some nobles applying rare creature organs that command premium prices based on supposed beauty-enhancing properties of unusual animal characteristics. Royal households maintain networks of specialized animal suppliers who provide exotic creature parts for exclusive beauty applications that distinguish royal cosmetic practices from common organ treatments available to lower-ranking nobles. Your observation of organ beauty preparation reveals the industrial scale of medieval meat processing for cosmetic applications, with royal courts maintaining specialized slaughterhouses and processing facilities devoted to producing fresh animal organs for beauty rather than nutritional purposes. The infrastructure required for organ beauty suggests that medieval courts considered fresh meat application sufficiently valuable for skincare to justify substantial investment in cosmetic slaughter operations disguised as advanced medical facilities. The medical justification for organ beauty includes elaborate theories about animal essence transfer that supposedly explains how fresh creature parts provide superior skincare benefits through topical absorption of animal vitality, intelligence, and other desirable characteristics that medieval medicine considers scientifically transferable through direct meat application to human skin. Historians still argue whether medieval organ beauty practices reflected genuine beliefs about animal essence transfer, or whether beauty culture promoted revolting treatments as method of demonstrating royal wealth through access to fresh meat for cosmetic rather than nutritional purposes, with organ applications serving as conspicuous consumption displays that emphasized aristocratic luxury through wasteful use of valuable animal resources. You watch your queen's face disappear beneath layers of fresh animal organs, creating a grotesque beauty mask that transforms royal features into butcher shop display, while promising complexion improvement through meat-based skincare that medieval beauty culture considers the pinnacle of advanced cosmetic science. You feel your stomach turn as the beauticians clear away the decomposing animal organs and prepare for the next phase of your queen's transformation, arranging ceramic bowls containing caustic lye solutions, concentrated acids, and other chemical compounds that will systematically burn away unwanted body hair while simultaneously destroying skin tissue in beauty procedures that essentially involve controlled chemical warfare against the human body. The medieval hair removal process represents one of history's most dangerous beauty practices, using industrial-strength caustic substances that modern safety protocols would classify as hazardous materials requiring protective equipment, emergency medical support, and environmental containment procedures to prevent accidental chemical injuries that medieval beauticians inflict deliberately in pursuit of hairless perfection. Your queen's hair removal routine begins with careful application of lye-based depilatory compounds that contain sodium hydroxide concentrations powerful enough to dissolve organic matter, including both unwanted hair and the skin tissue beneath, creating chemical burns that medieval beauty culture considers acceptable collateral damage for achieving the completely hairless appearance that aristocratic fashion demands. The caustic solutions work by breaking down protein structures in hair follicles while simultaneously attacking skin cells, creating painful chemical reactions that destroy hair growth while leaving permanent scarring that queens learn to disguise through makeup and clothing designed to conceal burn damage from beauty treatments. The preparation of caustic hair removal compounds involves combining wood ash, animal fats, and various alkaline substances to create chemical mixtures that achieve optimal hair destruction, while supposedly minimizing skin damage. Though medieval chemistry lacks sufficient understanding of chemical concentrations to prevent systematic tissue destruction that accompanies hair elimination, your beauticians handle caustic compounds with surprising casualness, apparently developing tolerance for chemical exposure through repeated contact with substances that would send modern hazmat teams scrambling for protective equipment and emergency decontamination procedures. The mainstream historical fact governing medieval hair removal reveals that caustic depilatory treatments were standard practice among European nobility. Surviving beauty manuscripts include detailed recipes for lye-based hair removal compounds, with specific instructions for preparing and applying caustic substances to various body areas. Archaeological analysis of medieval cosmetic containers shows chemical residues consistent with concentrated alkaline solutions, while medical texts describe treatment procedures for chemical burns resulting from beauty applications rather than industrial accidents, indicating that cosmetic chemical injuries were sufficiently common to warrant specialized medical protocols. You observe the methodical application process as beauticians carefully spread caustic compounds across your queen's skin using wooden implements, designed to prevent metal corrosion from chemical contact, creating precise patterns of chemical burns that will eliminate hair while leaving distinctive scarring patterns that become permanent reminders of beauty treatments. The application requires expert timing to achieve hair destruction before skin damage becomes immediately life-threatening. Though long-term tissue destruction receives minimal consideration compared to immediate hair removal effectiveness that justifies chemical injury, your queen endures excruciating pain as caustic chemicals begin destroying hair follicles along with surrounding skin tissue, creating burning sensations that intensify over several minutes, while chemical reactions progress through layers of epidermis toward deeper tissue structures that medieval beauty treatments systematically damage in pursuit of perfectly hairless skin. The pain management during chemical hair removal involves herbal preparations that provide minimal relief compared to the intensity of chemical burns that accompany systematic hair destruction through controlled acid attacks on human tissue. A quirky aspect of medieval caustic hair removal emerges from the elaborate protective measures that some courts developed to prevent accidental chemical exposure to valuable areas, including specialized application tools designed to contain caustic compounds, protective barriers that shield sensitive skin regions during hair removal, and even early chemical neutralization techniques using acidic substances to halt alkaline damage when chemical reactions become uncontrollably destructive. Some royal beauticians apparently developed surprisingly sophisticated chemical safety protocols, though their primary concern involved protecting cosmetic investments rather than preventing human suffering from deliberate chemical injuries. Medieval beauty culture essentially created specialized chemical warfare units disguised as skincare professionals. You discover that caustic hair removal often requires multiple treatment sessions, as surviving hair follicles regenerate despite chemical damage, necessitating repeated applications of caustic compounds that create cumulative tissue destruction while gradually achieving complete hair elimination through systematic skin damage that leaves permanent scarring across treated areas. Queens develop high tolerance for chemical pain while learning to manage scarring patterns that create distinctive skin textures, marking them as recipients of advanced beauty treatments that demonstrate aristocratic access to sophisticated cosmetic chemistry. The immediate aftermath of caustic treatment includes severe chemical burns that require specialized medical care to prevent infection and promote healing of deliberately damaged tissue. With court physicians developing expertise in treating cosmetic chemical injuries while maintaining professional support for beauty practices that create predictable medical emergencies. Your queen's chemical burn recovery involves weeks of painful healing, during which damaged skin gradually regenerates with permanent scarring that affects both appearance and sensation in treated areas, creating lasting evidence of beauty dedication that medieval society interprets as aristocratic sacrifice for cosmetic perfection. The body areas subjected to caustic hair removal include faces, arms, legs, and intimate regions where hair elimination creates the completely hairless appearance that medieval beauty standards require regardless of chemical injury involved in achieving such artificial perfection. Queens submit to comprehensive chemical hair removal that affects their entire bodies through systematic application of caustic compounds that destroy hair growth while creating extensive scarring patterns that require careful concealment through clothing and makeup designed to hide chemical burn evidence from public view. The seasonal timing of caustic hair removal coordinates with court events requiring optimal appearance, with queens scheduling chemical treatments during periods when recovery time allows burn healing before important social occasions that demand perfect hairless presentation. The planning involved in chemical beauty treatments requires sophisticated understanding of burn recovery rates, scarring development patterns, and optimal timing for achieving desired cosmetic results, while managing inevitable tissue damage that accompanies deliberate chemical injury. Your observation of caustic compound preparation reveals the sophisticated chemistry knowledge that medieval beauticians developed through practical experience with dangerous chemical reactions, including understanding of optimal concentrations, reaction timing, and neutralization techniques that allow controlled chemical burns without immediate fatality. The expertise required for safe caustic application demonstrates medieval mastery of industrial chemistry applied to cosmetic purposes, though their definition of safety includes permanent scarring and tissue damage that modern medicine would consider unacceptable cosmetic injury. The competitive aspects of caustic hair removal create pressure among court ladies to achieve increasingly dramatic hair elimination through more concentrated chemical applications, with some nobles using caustic compounds so powerful that they create permanent disability while achieving the ultimate hairless perfection that represents pinnacle of medieval beauty achievement. The social implications include queens whose chemical burn injuries affect their physical capabilities while enhancing their cosmetic appeal to medieval audiences who associate hairless skin with spiritual purity and aristocratic refinement. The long-term consequences of repeated caustic treatments include cumulative tissue damage that affects skin function, sensation, and appearance throughout queens' lives, creating permanent physical alterations that serve as lasting evidence of beauty dedication while potentially causing ongoing health problems from extensive chemical scarring that medieval medicine cannot adequately treat or reverse. Historians still argue whether medieval caustic hair removal represented genuine beauty preference, or whether hairless beauty standards were deliberately promoted to create cosmetic practices that caused permanent physical damage to royal women, making them more dependent on medical care, while creating distinctive scarring that marked them as recipients of elite beauty treatments that served social control rather than aesthetic enhancement purposes. You watch your queen's skin bubble and blister under caustic assault, understanding that medieval beauty demands accepting permanent chemical injury as a reasonable price for achieving the hairless perfection that aristocratic standards require, regardless of physical destruction involved in eliminating natural human hair growth through systematic tissue damage. You witness the excruciating spectacle of medieval hairline modification as your queen submits to the slow, methodical plucking of hundreds of individual hairs from her forehead and temples, using tiny metal tweezers to systematically remove each follicle in a beauty ritual that can last for hours, while creating the fashionably high forehead that medieval society considers the pinnacle of feminine beauty. Even though the process often results in permanent baldness, chronic infections, and scarring that transforms natural hairlines into artificial geometric patterns carved through deliberate follicle destruction, the forehead plucking represents one of medieval beauty culture's most sadistic practices, requiring queens to endure systematic hair torture that gradually reshapes their facial proportions while causing ongoing pain that can last for days after each plucking session. Your medieval beauticians approach hairline modification with the precision of skilled torturers, using specialized tweezers designed for optimal hair extraction, while managing the bleeding, swelling, and infection that inevitably accompany systematic follicle destruction across sensitive facial areas where hair removal creates particularly intense pain. The plucking process begins at the natural hairline and progresses backward across the scalp, removing hair in carefully planned patterns that create artificially elevated foreheads according to mathematical proportions that medieval beauty standards consider essential for aristocratic facial harmony, regardless of the physical agony required to achieve such geometric perfection. The immediate effects of forehead plucking include intense pain that radiates across the entire head, as nerve endings in hair follicles respond to systematic destruction, accompanied by bleeding from torn follicles, swelling that distorts facial features for days following treatment, and the gradual emergence of the high forehead silhouette that justifies enduring systematic hair torture in pursuit of fashionable beauty. Your queen's forehead plucking sessions leave her temporarily disfigured while promising eventual achievement of the elevated hairline that distinguishes royal beauty from common facial proportions that retain natural hair growth patterns. The mainstream historical fact governing medieval forehead plucking reveals that hairline modification was practiced across European courts for centuries. Surviving beauty manuals include detailed instructions for systematic hair removal to create high foreheads, with specific measurements and proportions that defined optimal forehead height. Archaeological evidence from medieval burial sites shows distinctive scarring patterns on noble skulls consistent with systematic hair follicle destruction, while court records document regular payments to specialized plucking practitioners whose services commanded premium compensation for inflicting systematic facial torture disguised as beauty enhancement. You observe the specialized tools that medieval beauticians developed for optimal hair extraction, including tweezers with serrated edges designed to grip individual hairs securely during removal, magnifying devices that help identify target follicles for precise plucking, and various sterilization procedures that attempt to prevent the infections that commonly result from systematic follicle destruction across large facial areas. The tool's sophistication demonstrates medieval understanding of plucking as specialized craft, requiring professional expertise to achieve desired hairline modification while managing inevitable medical complications from deliberate facial mutilation. Your queen's plucking tolerance develops gradually through repeated sessions that systematically destroy increasing numbers of hair follicles, while building pain endurance required for achieving dramatic forehead elevation through comprehensive hair removal that can take months or years to complete fully. The progressive nature of hairline modification allows queens to adapt psychologically to systematic torture, while gradually achieving the artificial facial proportions that medieval beauty demands, regardless of ongoing pain and permanent damage involved in reshaping natural human anatomy through deliberate follicle destruction. A quirky aspect of medieval forehead plucking emerges from the elaborate measurement systems that courts developed to ensure optimal hairline proportions, including mathematical formulas for calculating ideal forehead height, specialized rulers designed for measuring facial geometry, and even artistic consultations with court painters who provided expert advice about optimal facial proportions for portrait purposes. Some royal courts apparently maintained forehead engineering departments that applied architectural principles to facial modification, treating hairline plucking as precision construction project rather than beauty treatment. Medieval beauty culture essentially created facial geometry specialists, whose expertise rivaled contemporary plastic surgeons, though their tools were significantly more primitive and painful. You discover that forehead plucking often becomes competitive among court ladies who attempt to achieve increasingly dramatic hairline elevation through more extensive hair removal, with some nobles plucking so extensively that they create permanent baldness, while achieving the ultimate high forehead that represents pinnacle of medieval facial beauty. The competitive plucking creates pressure for ever more extreme hairline modification, as women attempt to outdo rivals through superior hair destruction that demonstrates greater beauty dedication and pain tolerance than less committed competitors can maintain. The infection risks associated with systematic follicle destruction include bacterial contamination of open wounds created by hair removal, spreading infections that can affect large facial areas, and potential blood poisoning from contaminated plucking tools or unsanitary treatment conditions that transform beauty procedures into medical emergencies requiring immediate intervention. Your queen's plucking sessions create hundreds of small wounds across her forehead and temples, each representing potential infection site that could threaten her life, while contributing to the artificial hairline that justifies accepting systematic health risks for cosmetic improvement. The pain management techniques for forehead plucking include herbal preparations that provide minimal relief compared to the intensity of systematic follicle destruction, alcohol consumption to dull sensation during treatment sessions, and various distraction methods that help queens endure hours of systematic hair torture while maintaining royal composure throughout beauty procedures that would challenge modern pain-tolerant standards. Medieval pain relief for cosmetic torture essentially involves accepting systematic agony as necessary sacrifice for achieving fashionable beauty that requires superhuman endurance. The permanent consequences of extensive forehead plucking include irreversible baldness in treated areas where follicle destruction prevents future hair growth, chronic scarring that creates distinctive skin textures, marking recipients of advanced beauty treatments, and potential nerve damage that affects sensation across modified facial areas. Queens who undergo comprehensive hairline modification carry permanent evidence of their beauty dedication, while potentially suffering ongoing complications from deliberate facial mutilation that medieval medicine cannot adequately treat or reverse. Your observation of plucking technique reveals the methodical precision required for systematic hair destruction, with beauticians working hair by hair across predetermined patterns while managing bleeding, pain responses, and client endurance throughout extended torture sessions disguised as beauty treatments. The expertise required for effective forehead plucking demonstrates sophisticated understanding of human anatomy, pain tolerance, and infection prevention that allows controlled facial mutilation without immediate fatality. The social pressure driving forehead plucking includes beauty standards that make natural hairlines appear crude and unfashionable compared to artificially elevated foreheads that demonstrate aristocratic refinement and access to advanced beauty treatments. Queens who maintain natural hair growth face social discrimination and potential political disadvantage in courts, where facial modification serves as a status symbol indicating wealth, beauty dedication, and aristocratic sophistication that natural appearance cannot provide. The recovery process from plucking sessions includes weeks of pain, swelling, and infection risk as damaged facial tissue gradually heals while revealing the elevated hairline that justifies enduring systematic torture for cosmetic improvement. Your queen learns to manage post-plucking complications while maintaining royal obligations that require public appearances despite facial disfigurement from beauty treatments that create temporary monstrosity in pursuit of eventual artificial perfection. Historians still argue whether medieval forehead plucking represented genuine aesthetic preference, or whether high forehead beauty standards were deliberately promoted to create cosmetic practices that caused permanent disfigurement to royal women, making them dependent on ongoing beauty treatments, while creating distinctive facial modifications that served social control purposes rather than authentic beauty enhancement. You watch your queen's forehead disappear under systematic hair destruction. Understanding that medieval beauty requires accepting permanent facial mutilation as reasonable price for achieving the artificial proportions that aristocratic standards demand, regardless of ongoing pain and disfigurement involved in reshaping human anatomy through deliberate follicle torture. You feel your teeth ache in sympathetic horror as your queen's dental beauticians prepare the next phase of her transformation, arranging small vials containing concentrated acids that will systematically destroy her tooth enamel, while promising the brilliant white smile that medieval beauty standards demand. Even though the acid treatments will gradually dissolve the protective coating that nature provides for human teeth, leaving exposed dentin that causes excruciating sensitivity, while creating the luminous dental perfection that royal appearance requires regardless of permanent oral damage. The medieval teeth whitening process involves applying powerful acids directly to tooth surfaces, using chemical compounds strong enough to etch stone while promising cosmetic dental improvement that comes at the cost of permanent tooth structure destruction that will plague queens for the remainder of their shortened lives. Your queen's acid teeth whitening begins with careful application of diluted sulfuric acid, vinegar concentrate, or other corrosive substances that medieval dental practitioners believe can dissolve tooth discoloration, while creating the pure white enamel that distinguishes aristocratic smiles from common dental appearance, that retains natural tooth coloration. The acid application requires precise timing to achieve whitening effects before complete tooth dissolution occurs. Though medieval chemistry lacks sufficient understanding of dental structure to prevent systematic enamel destruction that accompanies cosmetic tooth bleaching through controlled chemical erosion of protective tooth surfaces. The immediate effects of acid application include intense burning pain as corrosive chemicals begin dissolving tooth enamel, accompanied by foaming reactions that indicate active chemical destruction of dental tissue, while supposedly removing stains and discoloration that mar perfect white smiles. Your queen endures systematic tooth torture as acids gradually strip away enamel layers, creating the brilliant white appearance that justifies accepting permanent dental damage in pursuit of cosmetic perfection that medieval society considers essential for royal beauty standards that prioritize appearance over oral health or long-term dental function. The mainstream historical fact governing medieval acid teeth whitening reveals that corrosive dental treatments were documented across European courts. Surviving dental texts include recipes for acid-based tooth whitening compounds, with specific instructions for preparing and applying corrosive substances to achieve optimal whitening results. Archaeological analysis of medieval noble skulls shows characteristic enamel erosion patterns consistent with acid exposure, while court records document payments to dental practitioners who specialized in cosmetic tooth modification through chemical treatments that prioritized appearance over dental preservation. You observe the specialized application techniques that medieval dental beauticians develop for optimal acid distribution across tooth surfaces, using small brushes or cloth applicators designed to ensure even chemical coverage, while preventing acid contact with gums and soft tissues that could suffer additional damage from corrosive dental treatments. The precision required for acid application demonstrates sophisticated understanding of dental anatomy, while completely ignoring long-term consequences of enamel destruction that creates immediate cosmetic improvement at the cost of permanent oral health deterioration that medieval medicine cannot adequately address or reverse. Your queen's acid tolerance develops gradually through repeated treatments that systematically destroy increasing amounts of tooth enamel, while building pain endurance required for achieving dramatic dental whitening through comprehensive chemical erosion that can take months of regular applications to complete fully. The progressive nature of acid whitening allows queens to adapt psychologically to systematic dental torture, while gradually achieving the artificial tooth whiteness that medieval beauty demands regardless of ongoing pain and permanent damage involved in destroying natural dental protection through deliberate chemical dissolution. A quirky aspect of medieval acid teeth whitening emerges from the elaborate neutralization procedures that some courts developed to halt chemical reactions when tooth dissolution becomes uncontrollably destructive, including emergency rinses using alkaline substances to counteract acid effects, specialized timing devices that measured optimal acid exposure durations, and even early dental protective techniques using wax barriers to shield specific teeth during chemical treatments. Some royal courts apparently maintained dental chemistry laboratories that would make modern dentists weep with professional horror, though their research focused on optimizing rather than preventing systematic tooth destruction through cosmetic acid applications. Medieval dental care essentially created specialized enamel destruction units disguised as beauty enhancement services. You discover that acid teeth whitening often requires ongoing maintenance treatments, as natural tooth processes attempt to repair chemical damage, necessitating repeated acid applications that create cumulative enamel destruction while maintaining the brilliant white appearance that justifies systematic dental self-destruction through controlled chemical erosion. Queens develop extensive knowledge about acid timing, concentration management, and pain tolerance techniques that allow sustained dental modification despite increasing sensitivity and structural damage that makes eating, drinking, and speaking progressively more difficult as enamel destruction advances. The immediate aftermath of acid treatment includes severe tooth sensitivity that makes consuming food or beverages extremely painful, accompanied by visible enamel thinning that creates translucent tooth appearance, while exposing underlying dentin that causes ongoing discomfort requiring careful dietary management. Your queen's acid-whitened teeth achieve the desired brilliant appearance while becoming increasingly fragile and sensitive to temperature, pressure, and chemical contact that makes normal oral function challenging and potentially agonizing as enamel protection continues deteriorating through repeated cosmetic chemical treatments. The dietary restrictions necessary for maintaining acid-whitened teeth include avoiding foods that could stain newly exposed dentin, eliminating acidic substances that could accelerate enamel destruction, and consuming only soft foods that won't damage chemically weakened tooth structures. Queens learn to eat carefully selected diets that protect their cosmetic dental investments, while managing ongoing pain from exposed nerve endings that acid treatments have revealed through systematic enamel removal that prioritizes appearance over oral comfort or nutritional freedom. The competitive aspects of acid teeth whitening create pressure among court ladies to achieve increasingly dramatic dental whiteness through more concentrated chemical applications, with some nobles using acids so powerful that they create permanent tooth loss while achieving the ultimate white smile that represents pinnacle of medieval dental beauty. The social implications include queens whose acid-damaged teeth affect their ability to speak clearly or eat normally, while enhancing their cosmetic appeal to medieval audiences who associate brilliantly white teeth with aristocratic refinement and divine favour. Your observation of acid preparation reveals the sophisticated chemistry knowledge that medieval dental practitioners develop through practical experience with dangerous chemical reactions, including understanding of optimal concentrations, reaction timing, and neutralization techniques that allow controlled dental destruction without immediate tooth loss. The expertise required for effective acid whitening demonstrates medieval mastery of corrosive chemistry applied to cosmetic dentistry, though their definition of success includes permanent enamel damage that modern dentistry would consider catastrophic treatment failure. The long-term consequences of acid teeth whitening include progressive tooth decay, as damaged enamel provides inadequate protection against bacterial infection, eventual tooth loss, as chemical damage weakens dental structure beyond functional capacity, and chronic oral pain that affects queens throughout their remaining lives. The acid-whitened teeth that create immediate cosmetic improvement gradually deteriorate into dental disasters that require extraction. Though medieval society often interprets tooth loss as evidence of beauty dedication, rather than recognizing it as preventable consequence of cosmetic dental destruction, the medical management of acid dental damage includes court physicians who develop treatments for chemical tooth injuries, while maintaining professional support for cosmetic practices that create predictable dental emergencies requiring ongoing medical intervention. Medieval dental medicine essentially provides palliative care for self-inflicted chemical injuries while encouraging continued acid treatments that serve beauty rather than health goals, creating medical systems that simultaneously treat and promote systematic tooth destruction. Historians still argue whether medieval acid teeth whitening reflected genuine aesthetic preferences, or whether white teeth beauty standards were deliberately promoted to create dental practices that cause permanent oral damage to royal women, making them dependent on ongoing medical care while creating distinctive dental modifications that served social control purposes through systematic destruction of normal oral function. You watch your queen's smile transform into brilliant white perfection as acids continue dissolving her tooth enamel. Understanding that medieval beauty requires accepting permanent dental destruction as reasonable price for achieving the luminous smile that aristocratic standards demand regardless of lifelong oral pain and eventual tooth loss involved in chemical dental modification. You step into the most disturbing chamber of your queen's beauty routine as servants prepare an ornate silver bathtub filled with warm human blood, creating a crimson pool that steams gently in the candlelight while promising to restore youth and vitality through total immersion in life essence. That medieval beauty theory considers the ultimate anti-aging treatment. Even though bathing in human blood creates severe infection risks, while providing no actual cosmetic benefits beyond the psychological satisfaction of literally soaking in the supposed source of life itself, the bloodbath represents medieval beauty culture's most macabre practice, requiring systematic collection of human blood from multiple donors who may or may not have survived the donation process, creating beauty treatments that transform royal bathrooms into scenes resembling ritual sacrifice chambers more than hygienic facilities. Your queen's bloodbath preparation involves careful temperature control to maintain optimal warmth without causing coagulation that would ruin the smooth, liquid consistency required for effective immersion, while servants continuously stir the crimson mixture to prevent clotting that could create unpleasant texture during beauty treatments that already challenge modern sensibilities regarding appropriate bathing materials. The blood sourcing requires elaborate logistics to ensure adequate quantities for full-body immersion, with palace staff coordinating donations from servants, prisoners, or purchased blood from suppliers who may employ questionable collection methods to meet royal beauty demands that prioritize cosmetic effects over donor welfare. The immediate experience of blood bathing includes the distinctive metallic smell that permeates the bathing chamber, the unusual viscosity that makes movement through blood different from water immersion, and the gradual cooling that requires constant temperature maintenance to preserve the liquid state necessary for effective beauty treatment. Your queen settles into warm blood with royal composure, despite the obvious psychological challenges of voluntary immersion in human life fluid. Understanding that youth preservation requires accepting even the most disturbing beauty practices that medieval medicine considers scientifically advanced despite complete lack of evidence supporting blood bathing benefits. The mainstream historical fact governing medieval blood bathing reveals that human blood immersion was documented among European nobility as anti-aging treatment. Surviving medical texts describe blood bathing procedures for youth preservation, with specific instructions for blood collection, preparation, and optimal immersion techniques. Historical records include accounts of noble women who regularly bathed in human blood, while archaeological evidence from medieval palace sites shows specialized bathing facilities designed for liquid immersion treatments that required substantial quantities of organic materials rather than conventional water bathing systems. You observe the elaborate blood collection systems that royal households develop to ensure adequate supplies for regular beauty treatments, including networks of voluntary and involuntary donors whose blood feeds royal vanity through systematic extraction that may involve professional bloodletters, prisoner bleeding, or purchase blood from suppliers whose collection methods remain diplomatically unexamined. The blood storage and preservation techniques include temperature control to prevent spoilage, chemical additives to maintain liquid consistency, and quality testing to ensure optimal blood freshness for cosmetic applications that demand premium biological materials. Your queen's blood immersion routine includes specific duration requirements for optimal youth absorption, with beauty theorists recommending precise timing for maximum anti-aging benefits, while managing practical challenges of maintaining blood temperature and consistency throughout extended bathing sessions. The bloodbath effects supposedly include improved skin texture, enhanced vitality, and youth restoration through direct absorption of life essence that medieval beauty culture considers more effective than any plant-based alternatives for achieving supernatural age reversal through systematic immersion in human biological fluids. A quirky aspect of medieval bloodbathing emerges from the elaborate donor selection criteria that some courts develop to ensure optimal blood quality for cosmetic applications, including age requirements for youth-enhancing blood, health screenings to prevent contaminated blood use, and even astrological considerations that coordinated blood collection with cosmic conditions believed to enhance anti-aging properties. Some royal courts apparently maintain blood donor registries that would make modern blood banks seem amateur by comparison, though their quality control focused on cosmetic effectiveness rather than medical safety standards. Medieval beauty culture essentially created specialized human livestock operations disguised as donor programs. You discover that blood bathing often combines with other bodily fluid treatments to create comprehensive beauty immersion, using multiple biological substances applied simultaneously for enhanced cosmetic benefits, including mixtures of blood with milk for nourishing properties, urine additions for purification effects, and various animal fluids that supposedly transfer creature characteristics through topical absorption. Queens essentially submit to comprehensive biological soup immersion disguised as advanced skincare that demonstrates medieval medicine's sophisticated understanding of sympathetic magic rather than actual human biology. The milk bath alternatives provide less disturbing but equally ineffective beauty treatments using fresh dairy products that supposedly offer nourishing and whitening properties through total body immersion in animal lactation fluids. Virgin's milk commands premium prices for its alleged purity benefits, while milk from specific animals provides targeted beauty enhancement according to creature characteristics that medieval beauty theory considers transferable through bathing immersion that treats animal biology as cosmetic resource, rather than recognizing dairy products as ordinary nutritional substances. The infection risks associated with blood and biological fluid bathing include bacterial contamination from organic material exposure, potential disease transmission from multiple donor sources, and chemical reactions between biological fluids and human skin that create unpredictable health complications. Your queen's biological immersion treatments create ideal conditions for infection development, while providing no actual cosmetic benefits beyond temporary psychological satisfaction from engaging in elaborate beauty rituals that demonstrate aristocratic access to extreme cosmetic treatments unavailable to common people. The psychological adaptation required for blood bathing demonstrates the extent to which social pressure can overcome natural revulsion, with queens learning to associate human blood immersion with beauty enhancement, rather than recognizing biological fluid bathing as fundamentally disturbing experience that violates basic hygiene principles while providing no measurable cosmetic improvement. The mental conditioning necessary for regular blood bathing essentially transforms queens into willing participants in ritualistic practices that prioritize dramatic beauty statements over practical health considerations or basic human dignity. Your observation of bloodbath preparation reveals the industrial scale of medieval biological fluid processing for cosmetic applications. with royal courts maintaining specialised collection, storage, and preparation facilities for human and animal biological materials used in beauty treatments. The infrastructure required for blood bathing suggests that medieval courts considered biological fluid immersion sufficiently valuable for skincare to justify substantial investment in organic material processing operations that would horrify modern sanitation officials. The competitive aspects of biological fluid bathing create pressure among court ladies to access increasingly exotic or concentrated biological materials for superior cosmetic results, with some nobles bathing in rare creature blood or unusual biological combinations that command premium prices based on supposed beauty-enhancing properties of uncommon organic substances. Royal households maintain networks of specialised biological suppliers who provide exotic creature fluids for exclusive beauty applications that distinguish royal cosmetic practices from conventional biological bathing available to lower-ranking nobles. The preservation challenges of biological beauty treatments necessitate immediate use of fresh organic materials, while creating waste management problems for palace staff, responsible for disposing of contaminated biological waste that cannot be recycled for other purposes after cosmetic use. Your queen's biological bathing routine generates substantial quantities of potentially infectious organic waste that must be handled carefully to prevent palace contamination while maintaining secrecy about beauty methods that political rivals might exploit for propaganda purposes. Historians still argue whether medieval blood bathing represented genuine medical beliefs about biological fluid benefits, or whether beauty culture promoted disturbing treatments as method of demonstrating ultimate aristocratic luxury through access to human biological materials for cosmetic rather than medical purposes, with blood immersions serving as conspicuous consumption display that emphasized royal power over life and death through wasteful use of human resources for vanity rather than practical benefit. You watch your queen emerge from her crimson bath with blood-stained skin that requires extensive washing to remove biological residue, understanding that medieval beauty demands accepting systematic exposure to infectious biological materials as reasonable price for achieving youth preservation that biological science cannot actually provide. You watch in fascinated horror as your queen's beauticians prepare her daily dose of precious metals, carefully measuring gold leaf into wine while explaining that consuming pure gold will enhance her beauty from within by purifying her blood, brightening her complexion, and creating the supernatural radiance that can only be achieved by literally ingesting the most valuable substances on Earth. Even though eating metals provides no cosmetic benefits while creating serious health risks including intestinal damage, organ dysfunction, and potential death from heavy metal poisoning disguised as luxury beauty treatment, the medieval practice of consuming precious metals for beauty represents perhaps the most expensive form of self-poisoning in human history, with queens swallowing fortunes in gold, silver, and other valuable metals, believing that internal precious metal consumption will create external beauty enhancement through sympathetic magic that treats metallic value as transferable to human appearance. Your queen's metal consumption routine begins with delicate gold leaf, dissolved in expensive wine, creating shimmering beverages that literally contain fortunes, while promising beauty enhancement through ingestion of precious substances that medieval medical theory considers capable of improving human appearance from within by purifying internal systems with metallic perfection. The gold preparation involves careful measurement to ensure adequate dosage for beauty benefits, while avoiding immediate poisoning that could interfere with court obligations, requiring royal presence at social events, where metallic beauty enhancement must be displayed to justify expensive internal metal consumption. The immediate effects of gold ingestion include distinctive metallic taste that lingers for hours after consumption, potential digestive discomfort as precious metals irritate intestinal tissues not designed for metallic nutrition, and gradual development of subtle skin changes that medieval observers interpret as evidence of successful internal purification through precious metal consumption. Your queen's gold-enhanced appearance supposedly develops over weeks of regular metal ingestion, creating luminous complexion that seems to glow with internal precious metal enhancement, while actually representing systematic heavy metal accumulation that threatens organ function. The mainstream historical fact governing medieval metal consumption reveals that ingesting precious metals was documented among European nobility as beauty enhancement. Surviving medical texts include recipes for gold and silver beauty preparations designed for internal consumption, with specific dosage recommendations and preparation methods. Court records show regular purchases of precious metals designated for cosmetic rather than monetary purposes, while alchemical manuscripts describe elaborate theories about metallic beauty enhancement through systematic internal metal consumption that supposedly transformed human biology into more precious, perfect forms. You observe the elaborate preparation rituals that transform precious metals into consumable beauty supplements, including gold beating to create thin leaf suitable for dissolution, silver grinding to produce metallic powder for beverage mixing, and various chemical processes that render solid metals into liquid forms that can be consumed without immediate choking hazards. The metal processing demonstrates sophisticated understanding of metallic properties, while completely ignoring toxicological consequences of introducing non-biological substances into human digestive systems designed for organic nutrition rather than precious metal consumption. Your queen's silver supplement routine includes regular consumption of dissolved silver particles that supposedly provide purifying benefits, while creating the cool, luminous skin tone that medieval beauty standards associate with aristocratic refinement and divine favour. Silver ingestion requires careful dosage management to achieve desired cosmetic effects without causing immediate poisoning. Though long-term silver accumulation creates distinctive skin discoloration, that medieval observers interpret as successful beauty enhancement rather than recognizing as systematic heavy metal toxicity that permanently alters human appearance through internal metal deposition. A quirky aspect of medieval metal consumption emerges from the elaborate quality control systems that royal courts developed to ensure precious metal purity for cosmetic ingestion, including specialized assayers who tested metallic beauty supplements for optimal composition, chemical analysis techniques that verified metal authenticity before consumption, and even taste testing protocols where servants sampled metallic preparations to verify palatability before royal administration. Some medieval courts apparently maintained precious metal laboratories that rivaled royal treasuries in value, though their inventory focused on beauty consumption rather than monetary reserves. Medieval beauty culture essentially created edible jewelry industries disguised as advanced nutritional science. You discover that metal consumption often extends beyond gold and silver to include various other precious and semi-precious substances believed to provide specific beauty benefits through internal ingestion, including copper for circulation enhancement, iron for strength improvement, and even ground pearls for skin luminosity that supposedly transfers pearl characteristics to human appearance through digestive absorption. Queens develop extensive knowledge about optimal metal combinations, preparation methods, and consumption schedules that transform precious substance ingestion into sophisticated internal chemistry experiments designed to enhance beauty through systematic precious material consumption. The immediate digestive effects of metal consumption include potential nausea, intestinal irritation, and various gastrointestinal symptoms that medieval beauty practitioners dismiss as normal adjustment reactions to precious metal purification, rather than recognizing as early signs of heavy metal poisoning that could progress to serious organ damage. Your queen learns to manage metal-induced digestive discomfort while maintaining royal obligations that require public appearances where metallic beauty enhancement must justify ongoing precious substance consumption despite obvious health risks. The cumulative effects of regular metal ingestion include gradual heavy metal accumulation in organs and tissues that can cause long-term health problems, including neurological dysfunction, kidney damage, and various systemic toxicity symptoms that develop slowly enough to avoid immediate recognition as poisoning consequences. Queens who consume metals regularly develop characteristic signs of chronic heavy metal exposure that medieval observers interpret as aristocratic refinement rather than understanding as systematic poisoning that gradually destroys organ function through precious substance accumulation. The economic implications of beauty metal consumption include substantial financial investment in precious substances designated for ingestion rather than traditional monetary or decorative purposes, with royal households spending enormous sums on edible gold and silver that provide no actual cosmetic benefits, while depleting royal treasuries through systematic consumption of valuable materials. The beauty metal market creates specialized suppliers who process precious substances specifically for ingestion, developing entire industries devoted to making expensive metals consumable for cosmetic purposes. Your observation of metal preparation reveals the sophisticated alchemical knowledge that medieval beauticians developed for rendering solid precious metals into consumable forms without losing their supposed beauty-enhancing properties, including chemical dissolution techniques, temperature control methods, and various binding agents that make metallic consumption more palatable while maintaining precious substance integrity. The expertise required for effective metal preparation demonstrates medieval mastery of precious substance chemistry applied to beauty enhancement, though their understanding of human biology remains dangerously inadequate for safe metal consumption. The competitive aspects of metal consumption create pressure among court ladies to ingest increasingly expensive and exotic metallic combinations, with some nobles consuming rare metals and precious stones that command enormous prices based on supposed beauty-enhancing properties of uncommon valuable substances. Royal households maintain networks of specialized precious metal suppliers who provide exotic metallic preparations for exclusive beauty consumption that distinguishes royal cosmetic practices from conventional metal ingestion available to wealthy but non-royal customers. The medical management of metal consumption includes court physicians who monitor precious substance effects while providing treatments for metallic toxicity without eliminating beauty benefits, creating elaborate medical protocols that simultaneously support and treat systematic self-poisoning through precious metal ingestion. Medieval doctors essentially become specialized metal consumption consultants who optimize metallic beauty treatments while managing inevitable health crises resulting from deliberate heavy metal poisoning disguised as luxury nutrition. The preservation of metal-enhanced beauty requires maintaining consistent precious substance consumption, even during illness or other circumstances when additional toxicity could prove immediately dangerous, demonstrating extent to which medieval beauty standards prioritize cosmetic appearance over basic health considerations. Your queen learns to continue metal ingestion through various health challenges while managing withdrawal symptoms that occur when precious substance doses are reduced for medical reasons. Historians still argue whether medieval metal consumption reflected genuine beliefs about precious substance beauty benefits, or whether metallic beauty culture was deliberately promoted to waste royal resources while creating health problems that made queens more dependent on medical care and less capable of independent political action through systematic precious metal poisoning disguised as luxury beauty enhancement. You watch your queen swallow another golden fortune dissolved in wine, understanding that medieval beauty requires literally consuming wealth in pursuit of internal precious metal enhancement that provides no actual cosmetic benefits, while slowly poisoning royal bodies with expensive substances that destroy health in pursuit of imaginary beauty improvement. You feel your skin crawl as your queen's medical beauticians open ornate wooden boxes containing dozens of writhing black leeches, preparing to apply these blood-sucking parasites directly to her face and body in beauty treatments that medieval medicine considers essential for achieving perfect complexion through systematic blood drainage performed by creatures whose only purpose involves feeding on human life force until they become engorged with royal blood. The leech therapy beauty treatment represents one of medieval cosmetic culture's most revolting practices, using parasitic organisms that attach to human skin with powerful suction while injecting anticoagulants that prevent blood clotting, creating wounds that continue bleeding long after the creatures detach, leaving queens covered in small puncture marks that supposedly enhance beauty through controlled parasitic blood loss. Your queen's leech application begins with careful selection of optimal parasites for cosmetic blood drainage, with beauticians choosing specific leeches based on size, hunger level, and feeding efficiency that will provide desired blood removal without causing immediate exsanguination that could interfere with court obligations requiring royal presence. The leech placement requires strategic positioning across facial and body areas where blood drainage will supposedly improve circulation, reduce inflammation, and create the pale, refined complexion that medieval beauty standards demand through systematic parasitic feeding that treats blood-sucking creatures as living cosmetic tools. The immediate sensation of leech attachment includes sharp initial pain as parasites bite through skin to establish feeding connections, followed by numbing effects from natural anesthetics that leeches inject to prevent hosts from removing them during feeding sessions that can last for hours, while creatures systematically drain blood from royal circulation. Your queen endures the disturbing experience of feeling parasites swelling with her blood, while understanding that beauty requires accepting even the most revolting treatment methods that medieval cosmetic science considers advanced therapeutic procedures rather than recognizing as deliberate infestation with blood-sucking organisms. The mainstream historical fact governing medieval leech therapy reveals that medicinal leeches were extensively used for cosmetic purposes among European nobility. Medical manuscripts include detailed instructions for leech application techniques specifically for beauty enhancement, with court physicians prescribing regular parasitic treatments for complexion improvement. Archaeological evidence from medieval medical sites shows specialized leech storage containers and application tools, while historical records document substantial payments for medicinal leeches designated for cosmetic rather than purely medical applications, indicating widespread use of parasitic beauty treatments among aristocratic women. You observe the elaborate leech management systems that royal households develop to maintain adequate supplies of healthy, hungry parasites for regular beauty treatments, including specialized feeding schedules that ensure optimal leech appetite during application, storage facilities that preserve parasite health between treatments, and breeding programs that guarantee consistent supplies of blood-sucking organisms for ongoing cosmetic blood drainage. The leech husbandry demonstrates sophisticated understanding of parasite biology, while completely ignoring the psychological horror of deliberately infesting human bodies with blood-feeding creatures for vanity purposes. Your queen's leech feeding session creates grotesque visual effects as parasites gradually swell with royal blood, transforming from small black worms into engorged creatures that resemble blood-filled balloons attached to human skin while continuing their systematic drainage of royal circulation. The feeding process requires careful timing to achieve desired blood loss, without allowing leeches to consume dangerous quantities that could cause anemia or circulatory collapse. Though medieval practitioners lack adequate understanding of safe blood removal limits to prevent systematic weakening through parasitic feeding, a quirky aspect of medieval leech beauty emerges from the elaborate parasite training programs that some courts develop to improve leech feeding efficiency and targeting accuracy, including techniques for directing leeches towards specific facial areas, methods for controlling feeding duration and blood consumption rates, and even early leech breeding experiments designed to produce superior cosmetic parasites with enhanced blood-draining capabilities. Some royal courts apparently maintained leech academies that would make modern parasitologists question medieval priorities, though their research focused on optimizing rather than eliminating systematic human infestation with blood-sucking organisms. Medieval beauty culture essentially created specialized parasite management programs disguised as advanced medical facilities. You discover that leech therapy often combines with other parasitic treatments using various blood-feeding organisms that supposedly provide different cosmetic benefits through systematic infestation, with multiple parasite species applied simultaneously for comprehensive beauty enhancement, specialized worms for skin purification, blood-sucking flies for circulation improvement, and various other parasitic creatures create comprehensive infestation protocols that transform beauty treatments into deliberate ecosystem establishment, using human bodies as host environments for multiple parasitic organisms, feeding cooperatively on royal blood and tissue. The immediate aftermath of leech treatment includes continued bleeding from parasite bite wounds that remain open for hours due to anticoagulant injection, creating distinctive puncture patterns across treated areas that mark recipients of advanced parasitic beauty treatments. Your queen's post-leech appearance includes numerous small wounds that require careful management to prevent infection, while maintaining the pallor and refined appearance that justifies systematic blood drainage through parasitic feeding that medieval observers interpret as evidence of successful beauty enhancement, rather than recognizing a systematic weakening through creature infestation. The infection risks associated with parasitic beauty treatments include bacterial contamination from creature saliva and feeding apparatus, potential disease transmission from parasites that have previously fed on other hosts, and various complications from open wounds created by blood-feeding organisms that may carry pathogens dangerous to human health. Queens who undergo regular leech therapy expose themselves to systematic infection risks, while achieving temporary cosmetic effects that provide no lasting beauty benefits beyond psychological satisfaction from engaging in elaborate parasitic rituals. The competitive aspects of parasitic beauty create pressure among court ladies to undergo increasingly extensive leech treatments, using larger numbers of blood-sucking organisms for more dramatic cosmetic results, with some nobles applying so many leeches that they risk serious blood loss while achieving ultimate pallor that represents pinnacle of medieval parasitic beauty achievement. The social implications include queens whose leech-induced anemia affects their physical capabilities while enhancing their refined, ethereal appearance that medieval audiences associate with aristocratic delicacy and spiritual elevation. Your observation of leech application technique reveals the specialized knowledge that medieval beauticians develop for managing parasitic feeding sessions, including understanding of optimal parasite placement, feeding duration control, and post-treatment wound care that minimizes infection risks while maximizing cosmetic benefits from systematic blood drainage. The expertise required for effective leech therapy demonstrates sophisticated parasite management skills while completely ignoring the fundamental horror of deliberately infesting human bodies with blood-feeding creatures for vanity purposes. The psychological adaptation required for parasitic beauty treatments demonstrates remarkable human capacity for normalizing revolting experiences when social pressure demands acceptance of systematic creature infestation as evidence of beauty, dedication, and aristocratic sophistication. Queens learn to associate parasitic feeding sensations with cosmetic improvement, rather than recognizing leech therapy as fundamentally disturbing violation of basic human dignity that prioritizes appearance over psychological welfare and physical integrity. The seasonal variations in leech therapy include different parasitic treatment schedules designed to coordinate with optimal creature feeding conditions and royal social calendars that require peak beauty enhancement during important court events. Summer leech treatments supposedly provide enhanced blood purification effects, while winter parasitic sessions focus on circulation improvement that maintains refined pallor despite cold weather challenges to optimal complexion maintenance through systematic blood-sucking organism application. Historians still argue whether medieval leech beauty practices reflected genuine medical beliefs about parasitic therapy benefits, or whether parasitic beauty culture was deliberately promoted to create degrading treatments that emphasized royal submission to medical authority through acceptance of systematic creature infestation, disguised as advanced cosmetic care that serves psychological control rather than actual beauty enhancement purposes. You watch your queen's face disappear beneath a writhing mass of blood-engorged leeches, understanding that medieval beauty requires accepting systematic parasitic infestation as a reasonable price for achieving the refined pallor that aristocratic standards demand regardless of psychological horror involved in voluntary submission to blood-feeding creatures. You witness the most terrifying aspect of your queen's beauty regimen as darkness falls, and servants prepare her overnight beauty torture chamber, arranging an array of painful contraptions, toxic face masks, and positioning devices that will transform sleep into systematic beauty treatment through 8 hours of deliberate discomfort designed to reshape facial features, prevent wrinkles, and maintain perfect appearance while unconscious bodies endure systematic overnight beautification that prioritizes cosmetic improvement over rest, comfort, or basic human dignity. The medieval nightmare beauty sleep represents the culmination of daily beauty torture, extending cosmetic enhancement into the vulnerable hours when natural healing and recovery should occur, instead converting rest periods into additional opportunities for systematic self-improvement through sustained beauty punishment that continues working while queens remain helplessly unconscious. Your queen's nighttime beauty preparation begins with application of caustic overnight face masks containing concentrated acids, ground glass, and various toxic substances that will systematically burn, scrape, and chemically modify facial skin throughout the sleep period, while she remains unable to remove treatments that become increasingly painful as chemical reactions progress through hours of unconscious exposure. The overnight mask ingredients include substances that would horrify modern dermatologists: mercury compounds for luminescent enhancement, lead-based whitening agents for extreme pallor, and acid preparations that gradually dissolve skin imperfections, along with healthy tissue that happens to be in the chemical destruction path. The sleep positioning apparatus includes medieval contraptions designed to prevent natural movement that could disturb beauty treatments while forcing queens into unnatural sleeping positions that maintain optimal angles for overnight facial modification. Your queen's head becomes imprisoned in wooden frames that prevent turning, metal devices that stretch facial skin in predetermined directions, and various restraining mechanisms that ensure overnight beauty treatments remain perfectly positioned despite natural unconscious movement that could interfere with systematic facial improvement during vulnerable sleep periods, when voluntary cooperation becomes impossible. The mainstream historical fact governing medieval overnight beauty treatments reveals that toxic sleep masks and positioning devices were documented across European courts. Surviving beauty manuscripts include detailed recipes for overnight cosmetic preparations designed for extended skin contact during sleep, with specific instructions for restraining devices that maintain treatment positioning throughout unconscious periods. Archaeological evidence from medieval palace sites shows specialized bedroom furniture designed for beauty treatment restraint, while court records document regular purchases of overnight beauty equipment that combined furniture crafting with medical device engineering for cosmetic torture applications. You observe the elaborate toxicity management systems that overnight beauty requires, including specialized ventilation to prevent poisonous vapor accumulation in bedrooms where queens sleep, while toxic face masks gradually release chemical fumes that could cause respiratory damage or brain injury if breathing becomes too concentrated during extended unconscious exposure. The overnight treatment protocols include timing devices that supposedly prevent excessive chemical exposure, though medieval understanding of toxicity limits remains dangerously inadequate for managing systematic poison absorption through facial skin during extended sleep periods, when bodies cannot consciously respond to chemical emergency situations. Your queen's sleeping position becomes artificially maintained through restraining devices that prevent natural movement, while ensuring optimal treatment positioning for overnight beauty enhancement that continues working regardless of comfort, pain, or physical distress that develops during unconscious periods when voluntary cooperation becomes impossible. The positioning apparatus includes head restraints that prevent beneficial sleep movement, body constraints that maintain artificial postures designed for beauty rather than rest, and various mechanical devices that treat sleeping human bodies as stationary platforms for systematic overnight improvement projects. A quirky aspect of medieval overnight beauty emerges from the elaborate wake-up protocols that some courts developed to manage queens, whose overnight beauty treatments created temporary blindness, chemical burns, or positioning injuries that made normal morning activities impossible without specialized assistance, including emergency medical teams trained in beauty treatment removal, antidote procedures for overnight poisoning, and even physical therapy for restraint-induced muscle damage. Some royal courts apparently maintained overnight beauty emergency response units that functioned like medieval ICUs, though their primary mission involved managing cosmetic treatment casualties rather than providing actual medical care. Medieval beauty culture essentially created specialized torture recovery programs disguised as advanced skincare aftercare services. You discover that overnight beauty treatments often include systematic sleep deprivation through painful positioning and chemical irritation that prevents restful sleep, while promising enhanced morning appearance through sustained overnight discomfort that treats rest as luxury that beauty enhancement cannot afford to accommodate. Queens learn to endure sleepless nights filled with chemical burning, physical restraint discomfort, and systematic pain that supposedly improves appearance while destroying the natural recovery processes that healthy sleep provides for immune system function, cellular repair, and psychological wellness that overnight beauty torture systematically undermines. The breathing apparatus required for overnight toxic mask treatments includes primitive ventilation devices designed to prevent immediate suffocation while allowing continued chemical exposure to facial skin throughout sleep periods, when unconscious breathing could be compromised by poisonous vapors or mask materials that obstruct natural respiration. Your queen's overnight breathing equipment resembles medieval torture devices more than beauty accessories, with mechanical contraptions that ensure survival while maximizing toxic exposure through elaborate systems that balance immediate death prevention against systematic overnight poisoning for cosmetic purposes. The morning removal procedures for overnight beauty treatments require specialized techniques and equipment to safely eliminate toxic masks, chemical residues, and positioning devices without causing additional injury to skin and tissue that has endured hours of systematic chemical and mechanical assault during periods when natural defensive responses were impossible. Queens wake to elaborate decontamination procedures that remove overnight beauty evidence, while managing the inevitable chemical burns, positioning injuries, and toxic absorption symptoms that result from extended unconscious exposure to cosmetic torture methods. The cumulative effects of repeated overnight beauty torture include chronic sleep disorders, permanent chemical damage to facial tissue, and various long-term health problems that develop through sustained exposure to systematic overnight poisoning and physical restraint that treat sleep periods as opportunities for additional beauty enhancement, rather than recognizing rest as essential biological function that beauty treatments should not be allowed to disrupt or compromise. Your observation of overnight beauty preparation reveals the industrial scale of medieval sleep disruption for cosmetic purposes, with royal bedrooms transformed into beauty treatment facilities that combine sleeping quarters with chemical laboratories and mechanical restraint systems designed to optimize overnight appearance improvement while completely ignoring sleep quality, comfort, or basic human needs for restful recovery. That overnight beauty torture systematically prevents through sustained cosmetic intervention. The competitive aspects of overnight beauty create pressure among court ladies to endure increasingly severe sleep treatments using more toxic chemicals and painful positioning devices, with some nobles accepting systematic sleep torture that creates permanent health damage while achieving morning appearance that demonstrates superior beauty dedication compared to competitors who limit cosmetic enhancement to daytime hours rather than extending beauty treatments into vulnerable sleep periods. The psychological trauma associated with overnight beauty treatments includes developing fear of sleep due to associated pain and chemical exposure, chronic anxiety about beauty treatment effectiveness, and various stress-related disorders that result from systematic sleep disruption, combined with ongoing chemical poisoning that affects both physical health and mental stability through sustained assault on basic biological functions that healthy sleep normally provides. Historians still argue whether medieval overnight beauty practices represented extreme dedication to cosmetic improvement, or whether sleep-based beauty treatments were deliberately designed to create chronic health problems that made royal women more dependent on medical care while preventing the restful sleep that might enhance their mental clarity and political independence through natural recovery processes that overnight beauty torture systematically disrupted. You watch your queen disappear beneath layers of toxic masks and restraining devices, understanding that medieval beauty extends its cruel demands even into the realm of sleep, transforming rest into another battlefield where appearance wars against human biology. You settle into the gentle quiet of your own comfortable bed, feeling profound gratitude for the simple luxury of clean sheets and pillows that ask nothing of you except rest, while the medieval queen's tormented beauty routines fade into the shadows like disturbing dreams that daylight eventually dispels. The soft darkness around you feels protective now, free from the toxic vapours and caustic chemicals that once filled royal chambers, where beauty came at prices that would bankrupt souls as well as treasuries. Your breathing flows naturally and easily, unobstructed by the primitive ventilation devices and poisonous masks that medieval queens endured through sleepless nights filled with systematic torture disguised as cosmetic enhancement. The warmth of your bedding embraces you without demanding chemical burns or parasitic infestation in return, while your face rests peacefully against fabric that seeks only to comfort rather than to slowly dissolve your features through overnight acid treatments that transformed sleep into extended suffering. The silence around you carries only peace, unmarked by the sounds of bubbling mercury, dripping blood baths, or the soft scraping of metal tweezers systematically destroying hairlines one follicle at a time. Your modern world, for all its imperfections, has learned to separate beauty from brutality, allowing rest to serve recovery rather than cosmetic advancement through sustained overnight torture that treated unconscious bodies as opportunities for additional enhancement projects. Let your mind drift away from these ancient horrors toward the simple miracle of sleep that asks no price beyond surrender to natural restoration processes that work gently and without pain. The medieval queen's desperate pursuit of impossible perfection dissolves into the forgiving darkness that embraces you without judgment, offering dreams unmarked by chemical nightmares or parasitic invasions that once haunted royal slumber. Rest comes easily now, carrying you into peaceful dreams where beauty exists without violence, where rest restores rather than destroys, and where the gentle passage of time brings wisdom rather than the desperate terror that once drove queens to poison themselves in pursuit of youth that could never be purchased through systematic self-destruction.